Well, greetings and salutations, everybody. Welcome to the best damn movie-related show on the planet Earth, the John Campea Show, coming from right here on my YouTube channel. I am, of course, your host, John Campea, and it is an awesome honor and privilege, as it is every day, to have you, our international friends, gather around as we talk about our favorite things in the world, movies, movie news, TV, streaming, and all sorts of good things. And ladies and gentlemen, it is game day. Doctor Strange is coming out. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm tired as hell, but I don't care. Doctor Strange is coming out today, and I'm very stoked about it. I'm joined by a few other people around here, sitting right over here, Mr. Robert Meyer Burnett. Robert, how you doing today, sir?
John, I want to do all the things with my fingers and sling my whatever.
I don't want to hear about the things you do with your fingers. I'm not.
Talk about your dating life.
Gosh, here I was trying to get into my whole Doctor Strange, and all you're talking about is...
Anyway, and sitting beside him, Chris Carr is here, ladies and gentlemen. Chris Carr.
You make this pure angel seem like a filth monster all the time, and he is nothing but sweet.
Chris Carr is our living, breathing comics code.
Do you have to call me
He
sweet?
keeps everything in line.
Is sweet bad
Can I
to
be a
say?
little dangerous?
You're very dangerous.
Okay,
you
I-
like aspartame?
Sweet and dangerous.
Okay,
I get that.
I get
Something?
you. Sitting back there on Lonely Island, it's Ray Ora. Ray, joining everybody in the chat today. Ray, how you doing?
Once again, you're pointing like I'm in the same room. I am not.
You lie. You lie to everybody. All right, guys, listen, it is wonderful to have you guys here today on opening day, officially here in the North Americas, of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. Very excited about it. We're going to go see it like 2 hours after we're done shooting the show here today. Very stoked. We hope you guys have your plans and tickets all secured to go see it as well. And here's how today's show is going to go, guys. We're going to break it up, as we always do, into two parts. In the first half of the show, we're going to talk about some predetermined topics. Then in the second half of the show, we're going to take your live comments and questions. Now, how do we take your live comments and questions? Simple. First, you got to be watching the show live. That's kind of the first prerequisite. And then once we get near the end of our final main topic, I will announce that we're opening up the super chats. Once we do, you can fire in a comment, question, observation, critique, compliment, whatever your heart desires. And it'll probably be open for about a minute or two. And then we'll probably have to shut it down because they fill up fast. And then we will go through all of those to end off the show. But for now, guys, let's get into our main topics here, shall we? Chris, what is our first main topic today?
Our first topic comes from Zach B. Hey, John and crew. Okay, so like you guys, I wasn't thrilled by the finale of Moon Knight, but I love the show as a whole and can't wait to see him in future MCU projects. The awkward ending had me curious, though. Based on the upcoming MCU projects, both movies and Disney Plus shows, where do you think he may pop up as either a cameo or a pivotal figure? Thanks and bring on the filthy.
All right, thanks a lot for sending that in, man. And yeah, this has been a question for a little bit. So when Moon Knight was coming out, kind of news came out that Oscar Isaac had only been signed up for one season.
Yeah.
That was it. Not terribly unusual for television, but a little bit unusual for Marvel. And so that got people wondering, is this going to be a one-season limited series? Then came word that Disney had submitted Moon Knight in the limited series category, which technically should mean, especially with the change of the rules at the Emmys, that this should be a one-and-done series. Done. However, as the ping pong ball goes to the other side of the table, then this final trailer came out, right? And the final trailer ended with saying season finale, not series finale. So we started to speculate, well, what is that? Does this mean they're actually going to do this, all that kind of stuff? Well, we can now today say that this whole discussion is now put to rest because Oscar Isaac himself has come out and weighed in on the situation. This is what Oscar Isaac had to say. This is from CBR, who wrote, speaking to the Radio Times, Oscar Isaac revealed that while he'd be interested in reprising his role as Mark Spector, Marvel Studios is not working on a Moon Knight Season 2. You know, I think we approached it as this is the story, said Isaac, and let's just put everything out there on the table in this story. There's definitely no official plans to continue it. I think it would depend on what the story is. And that's, again, Oscar Isaac, the guy who plays Moon Knight. So look, I think there's two things here. One, we were talking after the finale that, especially after the finale was done, I truly felt like, yeah, that was it. This is it for that. But I also don't believe that's the last we're going to see of Moon Knight. And Rob, you and I talked about this yesterday on the open spoiler discussion for Moon Knight, that we both feel like, look, they brought in this character, they introduced this character, the character will be used again. I mean, I feel pretty confident about that. So with Oscar Isaac coming out now and saying there are no plans for a season 2, I actually believe it because I thought that before he even said it. But he's not saying there's no plans for me to come back. He didn't say that. He didn't say there's no plans for me to come back as Moon Knight. So I think we can expect to see him again. I just don't think it's going to be in a Moon Knight season 2. Rob, we discussed this a bunch yesterday, but now you're hearing Oscar Isaac's comments. Where are you on all this?
Well, look, I mean, obviously he's like an Academy Award caliber actor.
Yeah.
I would love to see him come back to play the character, and I think we will see him come back. It's almost like we got his sort of, maybe not his origin story, but the Moon Knight series was his backstory. So if he shows up as a defender of the night, you know, and is going to fight alongside other heroes, he can concentrate on being Moon Knight as opposed to being in some kind of battle between the gods. You know, that's been tabled. He's Moon Knight, whatever, and he can be a superhero. So I believe he could show up anytime. I mean, I don't think he's showing up in Love and Thunder, even though I think that'd be cool. I don't think he's showing up in Wakanda Forever. That'd be neat too.
I mean, if you had to pick one, though, that he will either show up in either Thor: Love and Thunder, I think the Wakanda Forever makes a lot more sense because this series had a couple of Bast and ancestral plane references and things like that. So that would make even more sense.
But with Gore the God Butcher being on the rampage, maybe Gore the God Butcher's coming for what if Gore the God Butcher comes for Hungry Hippo?
Oh,
Layla would have to maybe Layla would recruit Mark and they could go help her. You know, because I don't want to see that hippo dead.
No.
Well, if Thor has his hands full, I don't know what Moon Knight's going to do with Gore the God Butcher.
I don't know either.
Have we mentioned that we have footage of Gore the God Butcher that we can't share with anybody?
I find it amazing that footage, none of it has.
Yep.
No one's seen it.
Yeah.
No, I think we might actually be the only ones who have it.
I think we are the only ones who have it.
Anyway, sitting beside you, of course, Chris, we've had this discussion. We talked about on the show the other day about whether this is a one-shot, not whatever. Now that you're hearing Oscar Isaac talk about directly, where do you think this is actually at?
Well, I mean, I was definitely bummed because the change from series to season did get me very excited. But I am a little perplexed by his quote in that this is the story and this is it and we told it in full kind of idea here, right? Did you? Did you tell the story in full? Because I feel like we didn't. So I am sure we're going to see this character again, and I'm very excited to see more of this character. However, there's a lot more that I think we need to figure out with Mark and Steven and everything else.
And now Jake.
And now Jake.
I didn't know if I could still say spoilers, but you guys already did the discussion, so we're fine. Before he can become a West Coast Avenger, right? Or do anything like that.
Yeah.
Of course, the other prerequisite is there has to be a West Coast
There
Avenger.
has to be a West Coast
Which there is not.
There is that.
Maybe Steven just gets a hair up his ass and he's like, let's start the Avengers over here.
And, everybody trust me. I'm totally mentally stable.
I've got this.
Come do superheroing with me. This is all good. Anyway, guys, the question is for you. Now Oscar Isaac is weighing in and he's saying, there's no plans for a Moon Knight season 2. Do you believe that? Do you think there will be a season 2? Are you like us where you think, there probably won't be, but we will see him again in something else? Or maybe this was truly just a one-shot story and we won't see him again. I don't know. Whatever you guys think, jump down into the comment section below and leave your thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 2. Chris, what is our second main topic today?
This comes from Justice for Fredo. The news just seems to keep getting worse for Netflix. Today, their stock price hit another new low, and it seems the shareholders are fed up. The Hollywood Reporter is saying that the shareholders are now suing their own company for lying to them about the health of the company and their projections that have cost them hundreds of millions of dollars. I know at this point, Netflix is almost too big to fail, but they aren't recovering. Could Netflix be in real trouble here?
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in. Now, of course, this whole story about Netflix really first got rolling when the announcement came out that they had, for the first time in forever, they actually had a quarter where they overall lost subscribers. They lost 200,000 subscribers and projected that over the next couple, they were going to lose 2 million more. As a result, the stock tanked. And it put them kind of in a precarious position. Now, some people, including me, were a little bit optimistic that, the stock will recover. I mean, bad news came out, it'll tank, but it'll recover at some point. And it hasn't really recovered yet. And what's going on now is that the stockholders are saying, time out. You, back in October of 2021, you told us everything was flowers and cupcakes. You told us everything was good. And so what's a result now is you have a bunch of people representing people who have bought stock in Netflix between October of 2021 and April of 2022 saying, we have lost hundreds of millions of dollars because you lied. Now, this is something that they're talking about. Here's what we're talking about. This comes to us from the good folks over at, I believe it's Variety. Let's bring it up here. The Hollywood Reporter, who write the following. At the beginning of the class period, that's October of 2021, Netflix announced its third quarter financial results in a letter to shareholders that said, we are seeing the positive effects of a stronger slate in the second half of the year, with figures supporting the statement. On a conference call with the analysts and investors the same day, Netflix Chief Financial Officer Spencer Newman commented that throughout the quarter, the business remained healthy as it has been throughout the year with churn at low levels. He added that management expected to continue in terms of that healthy retention, and then this kind of acceleration as we get past those initial market reopenings with COVID and the past COVID pull, forwarding into the strength of our slate. And that comes to us from Variety. So this is the comments that the people, the shareholders of Netflix, are kind of rallying around and saying, you lied to us. You made it seem like everything was good and everything tanked. And it has continued to tank. Like I said, there were a lot of people who thought that once Netflix had that initial big drop, that it would then just recover. It didn't. Take a look at this chart here. I looked this up. And by the way, and let's see if we can take me off the screen there for a second, Jonathan. So here's where we were at, right? Basically, 1 month ago, the Netflix stock was at about $375 per share, $375 per share. As of this morning, when I took this graphic, it was at 191. As of this moment, it's 189.
189 now. I'm watching it right now. I've been watching it in real time as we started this story.
And you can see from the April 19th date, when the announcement came out that they had lost 200,000 subscribers and had that big cliff fall, there was no rebound. It has stayed low and has continued to drop. And this continuing to drop is what's making the shareholders at Netflix real angry. And now they're coming after their own company and suing their own company for lying to them and saying, we bought shares. We bought stocks in this company because you guys told us that this was healthy and growth was going to be accelerating. Let's bring me back up here, Jonathan. That everything was good, everything was healthy, and we're going to be accelerating. And so we bought more stocks and we bought stocks. And now we have lost hundreds of millions because of this. And Rob, you and I have talked for years about there is a ceiling in the streaming world, right?
There's only so many households in the world, John.
Everything looked like it was going to be the ancestral plane. The streamers could run through the fields forever. There was no limit to money, no limit to customers out there and all that kind of stuff. And now we see them because a lot of the other streamers started slowing down their growth as well. And we talked a lot about some of the inherent problems in Netflix. But, back when the big drop happened in mid-April, I kind of said, I was one of the guys who said, you know what, look, Netflix will recover from this. They are still a company that brings in like $12 billion in revenue a year or more. They're going to be okay, but this hurts, but they're going to be okay. I am starting to reconsider that position a little bit because their stocks have not rebounded. The shareholders are angry. They're suing their own company now. And I'm like, I think things might start to get worse before they start to get better for Netflix here. Anyway, Rob, you're looking at this story. What's your take on this?
Their stock price has dropped 50% in the last month.
Yeah. So keep this in mind. If you're a big investor, you put $2 million into this, you've lost $1 million.
In a month.
In a month.
That's not good. Here's the thing.
Uh-oh, the glasses are coming off.
I can't.
Oh, no.
No,
It's going to
Superman.
get serious now.
It's just that, look, you have a certain amount of subscribers and guaranteed income. I would think of the great thing about streaming for the Hollywood studios is for the very first time, they can actually make projections about what they're going to make the next month, not worrying about whether a movie is going to be a success or a hit. They've got a certain amount of subscribers. They know they've got a certain amount of cash flow coming in. The thing is, Netflix, when you lose subscribers, that affects your bottom line in terms of how much money you're bringing in. 200,000 subscribers at $15 a pop.
And here's a key. If you're a traditional studio and you lose money on one movie, you can make it back in another movie, you can make it back whatever. When you're a streamer and all of your money is coming from that subscription base, when you start to lose that subscription base, you got nowhere to make it up. There's nothing else. There's nowhere out there to make it up, which is probably why Netflix is talking about adding an ad-supported tier here pretty soon.
Yeah, I mean, and which they're going to have to do. They're going to, which again, it's almost like Movie Pass in a way. They're going to try and.
That's not a comparison they wanted to hear.
No, but it's like they're going to. Okay, we're going to get. Who wants ad-based Netflix? Well, then they're going to have to. I mean, right now, say you're getting $15 subscriptions, and now they make an ad-based subscriber service at $4 or something. But the thing is, as you know, broadcast ads that's been decreasing. The ads for network television, they've been increasingly, where have ads been going? Online. Shows like this even. I mean, the advertising world is moving away from that broadcast model. So even that isn't necessarily a sure thing, because what kind of retention do they get for the ads? I mean, on this show, our subscribers buy the products that we advertise, and it can be measured. They don't have that when they're giving, give the Netflix code and you can get 50%.
Yeah.
They're not going to do that. So even getting an ad-based subscription service as the ad revenues of traditional broadcast is changing, it's bad. I mean, it's really bad. And what's interesting is I don't watch, the funny thing about this to me is, do you watch Netflix any less? I mean, when there's a show on like Ozark comes on, I binge the heck out of that. I'm keeping my Netflix. I'm not like, they're going to suck next month, so I'm turning it off. I'm still a subscriber, and yet their stock has dropped 50% in a month. They haven't lost 200 million subscribers. They lost 200,000 subscribers.
Right, but a lot of it is based on where they think the future is going,
Right.
right? So, Chris,
But they're getting into new countries.
yeah. Chris, you had a chance to see this. What's your interpretation of the situation?
I mean, at first, it's any investment is risky, right? Water wet. That's not a big deal. But the way they've gone about misleading the stockholders here, or the shareholders rather, is pretty upsetting and morally gray at best. They've actually hired Glancy, Prongate, and Murray, who are a law firm that specialize in fraudulent claims, the people suing here. And the language of this lawsuit really, really makes me think that Netflix is in big trouble here, because they're talking about how, as a result of Netflix's wrongful acts and omissions and precipitous decline in the market value of the company's securities, they have a leg to stand on here. They talk about how they have released untrue statements of materials, omitted the stated material facts necessary in order to make statements made about Netflix and its business operations and future prospects in light of the circumstances under which they were made were misleading. There's a lot of stuff here that points to Netflix being completely in the wrong about how they've at least handled their shareholders. So this does not look good. And these guys lawyered the hell up. They chose a fantastic law firm to represent them. So Netflix really needs to get their poop in a group.
You think?
Go ahead.
Think someone else? I mean, with a stock price that's dropped that much, I would think they're ripe for a takeover. Mm-hmm. I mean, I feel like I'm watching like Wall Street or something. Like an Oliver Stone movie where you've got Chancellor Valorum, who's teamed up with Charlie Sheen, to steal the company away from Gordon Gekko. I'm going to break you, mate. I feel like we're watching something like that happening. Like, as I watch this now, the stock went down to 189.76.
But I want to bring up too,
just as we've been talking, and I'm wondering, like, what if Apple were to just swoop in right now and buy the stock?
Oh,
Well, see, that's the problem with the idea of takeover. There's nobody who can afford it.
Mm-hmm.
It's true.
Like, you can literally count on one finger who can afford to come in and, well, maybe two.
Right.
Apple and Amazon. Do Apple and Amazon really, because even for Apple and Amazon, who are by far the biggest companies in the world, the value of a company that generates, 15, 16, 17 billion in revenue a year, even for the biggest companies in the world, that's a huge stone to put on your back.
It is.
And I don't even know that and there's nobody else who could even dream of affording it. Sorry, Chris, you had something you
I
wanted
was
to
just
point
going to say, I really love that our viewer here wrote in the phrase too big to fail, because we all know that nothing is too big to fail. You just have to look at 2008. You can look at the HBO series that streamed in 2011 about this. There's a streaming service that works really well. But this absolutely could be the end of Netflix eventually, right? If everyone starts pulling their money out and we don't do something about their subscribers, even this streaming kind of juggernaut could fail.
I want to bring up one thing, though.
Mm-hmm.
We talked a minute ago about the fact that Netflix is starting to look at the idea of maybe doing an ad-supported tier. Let me talk about one of the things that could be a benefit of that. All right? one of the things we talk about a lot, and the problem with Netflix is this. A lot of people go, why does Netflix cancel this hugely popular show after 2 seasons? Why does Netflix cancel this massively popular show after just 3 seasons when it's still popular? Because here's the thing. Netflix doesn't make a single penny from how many people watch a show or a movie.
Right.
Not a single penny. They didn't make a single dime on Red Notice. When people tune in and watch Red Notice, doesn't matter this is the number one thing that people watched on Netflix.
And
what's that?
They spent $200 million on that.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they didn't generate a single dime of revenue because that's not their model. It doesn't matter. All they care about is new people signing up. Therefore, because that's their model, when they get a super popular show, after 2 or 3 seasons, they're like, okay, people are watching it, but are new people signing up for Netflix to watch it? Or has everybody who's interested in it now already subscriber? They're already subscriber? Well, then we're not making any more money off this show. Let's cancel that show, start up a new one. If they do move to something of an ad-based system, the unintended benefit of viewers could be that suddenly now there would be incentive for Netflix to continue super popular shows because those shows and people watching them would actually generate revenue for them. Again, I'm just trying to find a silver lining here.
There's an article in Variety yesterday about how this has thrown Hollywood into turmoil, and it's not just Netflix. And here's an interesting quote. Now Wall Street has serious questions about Hollywood's long-term financial viability. Quote, we think the industry is facing a point of no return in which the economics of the old models look increasingly frail, while the potential of the brave new world now appears overly hyped, wrote Robert Fishman, an analyst with MoffettNathanson. I mean, the fallout of this could affect all streamers. It could affect the studios. How much money is Wall Street going to pump into? I mean, Hollywood needs Wall Street to survive. And if everything is now on, all the foundations are on sliding sands, who's to say this couldn't affect everybody?
But we start to get box office numbers come in like we do for Spider-Man, and the numbers we're looking at may begin for Doctor Strange. We'll talk about that in a bit. I mean, it's going to be interesting to see how things redistribute.
Yeah.
Really, the question is for you guys. What do you think about what seemed like 8 months ago, the unshakable, undefeatable, immovable Netflix is now actually facing a lot of trouble? We're not sitting here saying that Netflix is going to die in 6 months. Nobody
Pull
is
your
saying
stock
that.
now.
Yeah, no one is saying that here. But they do look to be on more shaky ground than they've ever kind of looked. What's your take on all this? Whatever your thoughts are, jump down into the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. You want to stay out of a hairy situation? You need the sponsor of today's episode, our friends at Manscaped. We want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Manscaped. Now, guys, you know I love Manscaped. You've heard me go on and on about the Lawnmower 4.0 and that body wash. I love it so much. And so we got to ask, guys, have you started your spring cleaning yet? The carpets need cleaning, the drapes need dusting, and your lawn needs mowing, gentlemen. And you guys know Manscaped isn't more than just one product. They have a whole lineup of products to help you guys feeling, smelling, and looking your best. And so Manscaped is proud to present to you the Performance Package 4.0, which is the only tool that you need to keep your boys looking, smelling, and feeling good this spring. Now, to start off with, you get the Lawnmower 4.0. Guys, we have talked about this. What is wrong with us? Why have we for so long been using these terrible tools that were never meant for cutting our hair down there? The razor clipper things on our electric razors. That's barbaric, guys. You need the Lawnmower 4.0. And then there's the Weed Whacker. You guys have heard our own Ray Ora talk about this thing. He loves using it to get that hair in your nose and the ear hair. And then they offer lots of other stuff like the Crop Preserver. It's an anti-chafing ball deodorant and moisturizer. The Crop Reviver. It's a spray-on toner for your balls. And of course, they've got the perfect grooming tool for your face with the Plow 2.0, the perfect razor for the finest shave on that face. So guys, get 20% off plus free shipping with the code CAMPEA. That's CAMPEA at manscaped.com. That's 20% off and free shipping with the promo code Campea at manscaped.com. It's time to throw out your old hygiene habits and upgrade your life. And thank you to the good folks at Manscaped for sponsoring this episode of the John Campea Show. All right, guys, with all that down, let's move on to main topic number 3. Chris, what is our third main topic today?
Our third topic comes from Jeremy Sutter. Hello, John and crew. Just started watching you guys a few weeks ago, and now you're part of my daily routine.
Thank you, Jeremy.
So my question is about Doctor Strange's runtime. I think we were surprised when we heard the movie was just over 2 hours, and now Sam Raimi just said the cut he submitted to Marvel was 2 hours and 40 minutes. Why do you think they cut so much out of the film? Thanks.
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, Jeremy. And yeah, there was the fires of Gondor were lit in panic, Rob, when it was announced that the runtime for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness was 2 hours and 6 minutes. Because somehow, some way, over the past year or two, there's been this false belief that's gone out there that longer runtime equals better. And so when people heard that Doctor Strange was 2 hours and 6 minutes, that's not long enough. You can't fit everything in. It's like, well, the original Star Wars, who we never met Han or Luke or 3PO or Vader or knew anything about the Empire or Obi-Wan Kenobi or lightsabers of the Force or Jedis or anything like that. And that movie was 2 hours, and I heard it did pretty well. But there had been this concept. So Sam Raimi was just recently discussing this whole situation. He mentioned that he had turned in a cut of the film that was indeed 2 hours and 40 minutes long. This is what Sam Raimi had to say. He said the following. He said, well, the first cut was, I actually don't remember the length of it. It was probably like 2 hours and 40 minutes. And it slowly came down even though we did the reshoots. We took out material even though the reshoots went in. So it slowly got down to about 2 hours and 5 minutes is the total. And that, of course, comes us from director Sam Raimi. Now, he's actually a little bit off. The actual total runtime is 2 hours and 6 minutes. So that is the ultimate runtime. But still, you're talking about roughly about 35 minutes shorter. To which I had some people writing to me and saying, John, why did Marvel cut out 35 minutes of his movie? And this brings us around to a discussion that we often have to have. Sam Raimi never said his final version of the movie was 2 hours and 40 minutes.
He said very specifically first cut.
First cut.
Which is actually 2 hours and 40 minutes is pretty short.
For first cut.
First
Yeah.
cut.
So, I mean, and this is something that we've discussed a lot around here, that a first cut of the film, the director's always come, and it always changes from there. That was never meant to be the final version of the film. So I'm Sam Raimi saying, yeah, so first cut is about 240 and, down to about 205, which it's really 206. But still, there are a lot of fans out there who just think longer is better. Longer is better. There's a "that's what she said" joke in there somewhere, but I can't find it right now. Longer is better. Longer is better. So a lot of people, why not just leave it at 2 hours and 40 minutes? Well, I would actually contend that if you just leave it at 2 hours and 40 minutes, it's not really a Sam Raimi movie. Actually, I started thinking about this. When you actually go back and start thinking about Sam Raimi's comic book films and even like his most recent directorial effort, which I believe was Oz the Great and Powerful, his movies all kind of live in this neighborhood. I put this little chart together. Here's the thing. So if you go right all the way back to Spider-Man 1, it was 121 minutes. Spider-Man 2 was 127 minutes. Spider-Man 2, which is considered by many people amongst the greatest comic book films ever made. Mm-hmm. Spider-Man 3 is the longest he did, which is 139 minutes or 2 hours and 19 minutes. And then his last film, Oz the Great and Powerful, was 2 hours and 10 minutes at 130 minutes. And now Doctor Strange 2, 126 minutes, 2 hours and 6 minutes, which makes it 5 minutes longer than the first Spider-Man, only 1 minute short of one of the greatest comic book movies of all time in Spider-Man 2, and only about, what are we talking about here, 9 minutes short? No, 13 minutes short of Spider-Man 3.
And those 13 minutes were just dancing. So
was a lot of dancing.
We don't need that.
Some sharp dancing that has given the world a lot of joy in the last 15 years.
That's fair.
With all the memes that we got. So really, it's a movie that lives right where Sam Raimi likes his films to be. So number one, it was a first cut. Number two, I don't think Marvel forced him to make it 2 hours and 6 minutes, because this is roughly, as we just saw on that chart, this is really where he likes his movies to live. So basically, I think it's, don't panic. Everything is as it should be. Anyway, Rob, you had a chance to see what Sam Raimi talked about. What are your thoughts on this? Do you think there's maybe a world where they could have kept it at 240? Do you think maybe he should have made it longer? Where are your thoughts on this?
Well, because we've all seen the first 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. The movie has a breakneck locomotive,
yes, it does,
screaming down the tracks pace.
At least for the first
20 minutes. I mean, that's one of the things I like the most about it. It's like breathless. And I felt exhilarated watching it. They are putting in lore, they are putting in character development, they're putting in not just one but two crazy monsters. I mean, there's fighting, there's and another character shows up and you're like, yeah, man. I mean, I watched that 20 minutes and I was elated. I think we all were. Like, this is awesome. I mean, look, do I like to watch 2.5 hours or 3 hours of Marvel lore? Sure, I'll do that. But the pace has to be right for the film.
Right.
And it is the multiverse of madness. It's not about the multiverse of, I don't know, what would be a equivalent, a slow boat to China. You know, it's not, you're not, it's fast, it's furious, it's exciting, it's edge of your seat awesomeness. And I don't want it to be slow. Yeah. I mean, it's paced well.
Mm-hmm.
Chris, you're hearing this. What do you think of it?
Well, as we've said on this show before, it is not the length, it is how you use it.
Yes.
All right, there it is. And as an editor, I mean, Rob, you know this, like sometimes there is just fat to cut. Sometimes there are things where you were just constantly telling people things instead of showing them.
Also, you know, when you're editing a movie, traditionally I have found that dialogue scenes tend to always run long. Mm-hmm. Because as they're written on the page and as they're shot, when you've watched the film in context, a lot of the dialogue exchanges are self-evident in what you've seen in the footage. You're like, oh, the audience will get that. We don't have to state it again. So over the course of 2 hours and 40 minutes, I'll bet you the dialogue scenes all came down by a third.
Oh,
you know, just in terms of the length of each individual scene. You wouldn't even know that they're gone. And it'll bring that running time down.
And whenever we write a conversation, too, we always think we're being incredibly clever.
Yeah.
And then we go, oh, this is not how people talk, even in a multiverse.
Yeah, and wow, this is just 5 minutes of a camera going back and forth between two faces. You know what the funny thing is, too? As I read through a lot of the reactions and reviews of Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness, and, you know, not everybody loves it. It's hovering around an 80% right now. But even amongst the negative reviews, the criticism I have not seen yet, I have not read one single reaction seen that said, I felt like this movie needed more room to breathe. And some movies will, right?
Yeah.
We've said that about some movies, that some movies needed to be longer, some movies needed to be shorter. But even amongst the people who didn't love this film, I haven't read anybody say this movie needed another 15 minutes. You know, for instance, like Ray, I know that you were very disappointed to find out this movie was only 2 hours and 5 minutes. Like, you wanted this to be a 4-hour War and Peace kind of thing.
Well, with this movie, it doesn't matter how long it was or it is going to be. I'm going to be confused no matter what. I already know that. I just hope that I get to see some action. I don't know.
Be confused no matter what.
But 3 hours is long. But I made it through the Batman, and that was like,
you did.
Yeah.
That was kind of like it's not going to be as crazy as this movie. So 2 hours is going to be fine.
Yeah, I think it's going to run just fine.
I like what you said about the breathing thing, too, here, because some films don't need to be decanted, right?
Right.
And if the first 20 minutes of this are evident, this is a straight shot, and that's what I want. I want this to be a neat whiskey, is how it's feeling right
Good
now.
liquor analogies.
What
there.
we saw in CinemaCon was cut footage.
Yeah.
That's not even in the movie.
It's not even in the movie. They just cut out the 20 minutes. That was part of it. Sam watches the show and
Robin's
he was like,
excited
I want...
about something we didn't even see.
No, I just love the idea of movies don't have to always be decanted. Mm-hmm. That is a concept that I've never heard before. I'm going to incorporate that into my worldview.
That's so that I don't know what that means.
Yeah.
All right, guys, question is for you. What do you think about this? Director Sam Raimi says his first submitted cut of the film was 2 hours and 40 minutes. Obviously, it never ends up at that. And now we're down to 2 hours and 6. Are you guys feeling like you kind of wish it was longer? Are you saying, nah, man, just give it to us, that whatever length makes the best movie? Whatever your thoughts are, jump on down to the comment section below and leave those thoughts there. All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to main topic number 4. Chris, what is our fourth main topic today?
This one comes from Benny. Do you see that HBO dropped the first real trailer for House of the Dragon? I don't know much about the story, but I got chills watching it. The little hints of the classic Game of Thrones music made me realize how much I missed this world, even though I didn't like how the original series ended. What did you think of it, and are you excited for the new show?
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, Benny. And I get it. You and there's a lot of people weren't thrilled with how Game of Thrones ended. I loved it. I thought it was great. It was one of those things where I felt It needed more room to breathe. I mean,
Yeah.
there's no, even somebody like me who loved the final season.
It needed to be decanted.
Even I would say it needed more episodes. It needed to be longer. Absolutely. But I thought it was fantastic. And it set the record for the most Emmy wins of any season of television in television history. Good for them. But that being said, House of the Dragon's coming out. Now, look, Game of Thrones, obviously the most celebrated television show in history. It has won more Emmys than by a mile than any other show in television history. It invaded pop culture more than any other television show in history. But just because it was all of that doesn't necessarily mean that something else that you tag the same label on it is going to work or be well, especially with the fact that there are a good number of people out there who left Game of Thrones with a little bit of a sour taste because of the way to them that the ending of it didn't work. So I've not really known what to think about House of the Dragon. Now, of course, we start to see character posters. I liked it. You got Matt Smith in there. I like that. We got some footage, glimpses, a little teaser that wasn't really a proper teaser earlier. I thought it looked pretty good, but we really got our first legit trailer today for it. And I will say I kind of completely agree with what our viewer wrote, that when those little notes of that Game of Thrones theme started to become recognizable, I kind of got chills a little bit. And I kind of realized, you know what? I don't think I realized how much I miss going there and into that world and hearing these stories.
Such a warm, inviting place, Westeros.
Such a safe,
King's Landing.
good place to raise kids.
What
Oh
a
my gosh,
vacation
such
spot.
a good place to raise kids.
I mean,
Gosh.
it looks great. I mean, they decided not to wait. We're going to see dragons. One of the very first shot, you see dragons flying around and all that kind of stuff. Now, look, they didn't go a lot into the story, nor should they yet. I mean, we're still a little bit off from the series. We're going to have more promotion to come. So I'm going to say this. It didn't blow me away, but for a first little teaser that was a truly legitimate teaser, I gotta say, it made me feel like I missed that world and I'm ready to go back into it. So I think it did its job. Chris, you saw the first kind of teaser here. What did you think of it?
It's a Game of Thrones. I honestly, I didn't feel much for it. I think everyone looks great. I'm glad we saw dragons, because if you have this whole build up towards the end of the Game of Thrones that we all know, you can't just be like, and we're going to pull back on dragons again.
Yeah.
We've already seen them. They need to be there. I'm mostly just hoping that this is a good vehicle for Matt Smith. I want that kid to have a win. I really, really like him as an actor. I think
But he
he's
just
phenomenal.
did Morbius.
Which was my favorite film of the year.
Isn't that like the crown jewel in his career
My
now?
first hot toy is going to be Matt Smith
In
in his
Morbius.
weird little monsters Morbius attire. It's so weird hearing you just laugh off camera. It's very unsettling. I just, the last season for me wasn't great. It was very rushed. There were some good moments, but it kind of just took away all the wind in my sails for this franchise. I'm hoping that that's reignited. I'm really hoping I'm into this again. And at the, worst case scenario, I'll go back to watching it with all of the different Game of Thrones scotches.
Oh, that's right. They did put out a bunch of those,
and they
didn't
are
they?
delightful.
Rob, you had a chance to see this. What was your take on the teaser?
Well, I kind of echo what my esteemed colleague over here, Chris Carr, has to say,
thank
in the sense that it looks great. I mean, it looks beautiful and lush, and the production values look incredibly high. But I don't know who these people are. I'm watching.
But you recognize the family names.
Yes, I recognize the family.
Anyone
names,
with
but-
white hair, I know their lineage.
yes, and all that's fine. All that's great. But to me, we're now in the wake of Game of Thrones. We've had Wheel of Time, and we've had Shannara, and there's been all of these fantasy shows. And the thing that made Game of Thrones, I think, different is that even though there was sword and sorcery and a bit of magic and dragons, it really was set in more of a gritty reality. And this has that. I'm looking at, I'm waiting to know, because we don't know about the story, why am I going to get invested in this?
Right.
That's what I want to know. And it looks great. And I'll watch it because it's Game of Thrones, and I love Game of Thrones. Even when Game of Thrones was like pizza or sex. Even when it was bad, I still really enjoyed watching it.
Right.
And I think that this looks that way too. But again, as I was saying earlier before the show started, for me, John, it's always about the writing. And Game of Thrones had some of the greatest writing in television. I mean, but that was when Benioff and Weiss had the books to go back to. And again, like with the Lord of the Rings show, they're tapping into backstory to create a full-blown series, and that's hard to do, and that takes some real deft script writing, and I really hope that it's great. George R. R. Martin seems to like it.
Yeah.
Author who's making a lot of money says he likes his show.
Oh,
it's like,
no,
what
I
do say?
hate making money from HBO.
Yeah, but I really want.
I don't want to
this-
have to go back to actually finishing writing my
That would
books.
suck.
I just want to collect checks.
I will say this: I'm rooting for this show. I want to love this show. It looks great. I hope it's great. But again, if the thing that we're most excited about is, there's the Game of Thrones theme.
I don't think anybody's saying they're excited for the Game of Thrones thing, but music like Smell just
I know.
elicits those emotional
I know.
triggers,
And
and you
what
just realize it's like, oh yeah, I love going into that world. I love
just want it
sitting
to be-
down and watching
I want
this.
it to be great, man.
You know, I
Please be good.
actually started watching Game of Thrones.
You did?
I'm on episode 4. I mean, we get it later now. They just released it here on Minority Island.
Minority.
So,
Did HBO just come out of Minority
yeah,
Island?
so they just
That's
released
awesome.
season 1, and this is true. I did start watching it. I'm not being like, so I'm up to episode 4. It's pretty good.
Nothing bad happened at all.
Nothing bad.
Nothing bad
There's like
happens.
how many seasons in
Oh my
Game
gosh,
of Thrones?
they
Like
have
8,
the
9?
cutest weddings on this show.
Everybody
man.
becomes friends.
I can't wait to see this trailer when it gets here.
Are you watching things like The Sopranos for the first time too?
What's that? I have no idea what that is. No, but
Yeah.
I think I'm going to continue it. It's actually a pretty interesting show. So,
All right, guys. Question is for you. House of the Dragon teaser is now here. Have you had a chance to see it? What do you think about it? Are you excited for the show? Maybe you're kind of taking a wait and see. Maybe you just want to watch the pizza like Rob. Whatever you guys are thinking, jump down in the comments section below and let us know your thoughts. I don't know what that means.
I'm just still cracking up about the fact that you guys just got HBO Max on Minority Island.
All right, guys. With that down, let's move on to our fifth and final main topic today. Chris, what is our fifth and final main topic
Why would
today?
he watch the pizza? Oh, Vimadet writes in. Good day, John. I hope you know that you may have to buy Ray that hot toy after all. Yay, Ray! I've been reading reports that showtimes of Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness have been selling out quickly. With the movie opening in America today, I wanted to know just how big you think this film can be at the box office.
All right, thanks a lot for saying that in, man. And yeah, look, today is the day. It is indeed game day. The trucks are pulling into the parking lot. The tailgating has begun. People are painting up their faces. It's the day. It's here. We've been talking about it for like a year and a half, but it's here. Doctor Strange, we're watching it today. Very psyched. Now the question, how many other people are psyched? How many people are going to go out and watch this thing? Will this thing be a very respectable $150, $160 million opening? Will it be a monstrous opening with $200 million plus? Only a handful of films in cinematic history have ever done that. But we're starting to get a look at the numbers. Let's take a look at this. This is what the folks over at Box Office Pro had to say. They said the following. They said, Multiverse of Madness has long been tracking for a debut of over 165 million, with incremental shifts upwards in recent weeks as buzz and pre-sales have impressed to the point of increasing the chances for what could become just the second May release in history to eclipse the $200 million threshold. The only other time it's happened? 2012's The Avengers, when it set then an all-time record with 207.4 million, a milestone perhaps fittingly celebrating its 10th anniversary this weekend. Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness opening weekend range, 192 to $222 million. Now, first and most importantly, I think that everybody would agree, it looks like I won't have to buy Ray that hot toy. At 266, maybe a little bit outside.
You should do it anyway.
Yeah.
The hell with that. You buy him a hot toy. You give him one of your hot toys. You got
It'll
like
take a long
50
time
do
to ship
that.
here, anyways. Might be a couple weeks. It
Yeah,
might not
shipping
even
to
get
the
here.
island takes a while to get there. So
Who knows?
Yeah, there's
Ship me
supply
a box
chain
of
issues
rocks,
to
it'll help.
Minority Island. I
But
can't do it.
192 to 222. Let's put this into a little bit of context here, shall we? Let's bring up this. This is the all-time opening weekend box office records, all right? Obviously got Avengers Endgame, which ain't anything going to touch for my children's children. It's 357 million. Spider-Man No Way Home came in second at 260. Avengers Infinity War 257. Star Wars Episode 7, The Force Awakens 247. But here's the interesting thing. With Star Wars Episode 8, The Last Jedi, opening to $220 million, it is theoretically possible, it is possible, however unlikely, that should Doctor Strange come in at the upper end of that forecast that Box Office Pro is saying, that 192 to 222, if it does hit the top end of that, you are talking about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness becoming the 5th biggest film opening in the history of cinema. The 5th biggest opening in the history of cinema. If it is able to do that. Even if it doesn't, if it just goes over 208, at least becomes number 6, but it could be cracking into the top 5. And the reason why this is so significant, besides just a new film entering the top 5 of the biggest openings in cinematic history, is already a big deal, but it would become the second film to join the top 5 in the post-pandemic era, which is also in itself incredibly impressive. Can it crack that top 5? Can it come into the top 5 of that range? Well, here, take a look at this. This is the showtime chart for the AMC Theater in New York Times Square. The AMC Theater in New York Times Square has 70 showings.
It looks like
today.
bingo. It looks
This
like a
is just
bingo
today.
card.
Today for Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. They have showtime starting at 3 p.m., 3:05, 3:15, 3:30, 3:45, 4:15, 4:35, 4:45, 5 p.m., 5:15, 5:30, 5:45, 6:05, 6:15, blah. Every 5 to 15 minutes, they have a new screening start. This ain't even all of them.
This does make the Times Square M&M store make more sense to me, though.
So you're starting to look at this, and like, I just out of curiosity, I jumped on and to my AMC app, and I started to look at showtimes. I'm not going to say they were all completely full, but they were all to the point that there were only a smattering of a couple of single seats here and there that were still available. People have been getting excited about this, and the theater's preparing for a big deal. Now, look, I said a long time ago, if this movie opens to over $165 million, that is a huge win. That's a massive opening. If this thing gets over 200, hell, if this thing gets over 220, becomes one of the top 5 all-time opening films in history. Listen, I get it. Because of what Marvel and Star Wars recently has been doing, all that kind of stuff, we become a little desensitized to the notion of what really big numbers are. We think, oh, everything hits $1 billion, and that's clearly not the case. But I think people need to appreciate the sense of history if it indeed does climb over that 220 mark. Will it? I don't know. Again, that is the upper end of Box Office Pro's projections. But if it does, everybody needs to take a step back and just kind of appreciate historically what it is we're seeing happening here, because I think that would be pretty damn impressive. Anyway, Rob, you're seeing these projections. We're now here. The day is upon us. The movie is opening. What do you see Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness doing business-wise?
Well, this is where the 2-hour running time comes in as well.
Oh, it's going to be real helpful.
I mean, if you even 30 more minutes is less shows a day, and what you just showed, 70 show times in a day in one theater in New York. I mean, I think that New York theater, is that the Burbank, the AMC 25 that's in Times Square? Was that what that?
I don't know. I just not called the 25. It's called the AMC Times Square, I think.
No, that's the busiest theater.
That is their number one theater.
In Burbank is the second busiest. Yeah. If you've got a 2-hour movie playing in every theater, and they're scheduling showtimes every 15 minutes on a rotating basis, that's a lot of money.
If they sell out.
If they sell out. But you were saying you just a smattering of seats. I mean,
here in Burbank at any rate.
That's pretty good. And I think that, like you said, there's this excitement. And with a 2-hour show, they get more. They'll shoehorn in another. They might even start 2 hours early and end 2 hours later. Get that cheddar. This is going to be a huge opening. I think, regardless of whether it's at the low end 165 million, at the high end 220. That's huge.
Well, they're saying their range is their low end of Box Office Pro, saying their low end range is 192.
Well, that's that's in the top. That's got to be in the 98th or 97th percentile.
I think it puts it even at the bottom of the range. I think it puts it in the top 12 or 13 of all time.
Look, I think what's really great about this is you can talk about, well, Marvel represents the death of cinema. No, it doesn't. The fact is people are excited to go to the movies again. You put things, the fact that Everything Everywhere All at Once, a little independent movie has not dropped in the box office in 6 weeks. Word of mouth, people are loving the movies now. And you've got this kicking off the box office. We got Top Gun Maverick coming out. Our friend Cliff Stevenson said, Tom Cruise movies never open to $100 million.
This one will.
I said this one's going to open to $100 million. And that was before I saw it. After seeing it, I'm like, it's going to open to $100 million. Movies are back, baby. People are excited. I like
Sonic
seeing this
2's
happen.
doing great.
Sonic 2 is doing great. I mean, this is really. I'm sure if you work at Netflix today, you might feel differently. But I think that it's it's good
that's
for
part
the
of it, though, right? You want to go see movies in a movie theater.
Yeah.
We don't want to see them in our house as much anymore. We want to experience movies as they're meant to be experienced with other people, where we have that wonderful communal experience of, oh my gosh, I don't know you from Adam, and we are going through the exact same emotional journey, and you could live a totally different life than me, but here we are in this theater, brought together through this amazing storytelling.
And not only that, I mean, they brought 3D back too.
Yeah.
Like I'm going to see this in the IMAX in the Chinese with my friend Dave, because they've got laser projection 3D, the best 3D I've ever seen. And I haven't been excited to go see a 3D movie in years. I'm stoked, dude.
I've never been excited to see a 3D movie.
Oh man,
so-
the first Doctor Strange in 3D though was dope.
Yeah,
That was so good.
It was.
Oh,
Would you like to borrow my 3D Blu-ray?
honestly, yes.
Oh, there you go.
Well, Chris, what about you? Well,
No.
actually, no. Rob, let me go back to you on
I'm
this
for
just
it,
quick. I need a prediction. What is Doctor Strange: The Multiverse of Madness going to open to?
210.
210. I like that number. Chris, you're seeing these numbers. Where do you think they're this range? 192, 222. Can it crack the top 5? What do you think it's going to do here?
I really want it to do well, so Ray gets a toy.
Yep.
Well, I mean, even the top range is about 40 million off from getting the toy.
I do think we're probably going to be doing something like a 220 here, but I think it's
Wow.
going to be. I think it's going to do really well. I think people are really excited about this. I think people loved WandaVision. They loved Spider-Man: No Way Home, and I think everything. Even if it has been too much marketing to some people, right? I think everything they've done for this marketing campaign is going to put so many butts in seats, including the casual Marvel film goer.
See, brings up an interesting discussion too, because we were talking the other day about the fact that Kevin Feige wasn't happy with how much the marketing was
Papa
showing.
Feige was mad.
Until Monday.
Until Monday. Here's the reality. I still remember going back before that Doctor Strange trailer that first let us hear and see a bit of Patrick Stewart as Professor X in it. I still remember a lot of people who were writing into this show saying, I don't feel any buzz for Doctor Strange. I don't feel any excitement for Doctor Strange and blah, blah. Well, guess what? With Marvel and Disney, I should say, taking the control out of Kevin Feige's hands and doing too much marketing, depending on who you ask, if this thing does crack the top 5 openings in cinematic history, you're going to see Disney doing a lot more of it. You're going to see everybody doing a lot more of it. And whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, that's up to you to decide. Ray, I want to ask you this. I mean, look, I'm not going to hold you to the 266, but what
267, baby.
Does it open on your island today too?
No.
No, he's got to travel international.
We don't even have 3D here. Come on.
Like
We've got-
ever?
No. But a serious
Yeah, where do you think?
234.
So you think it's going to exceed expectations?
Because I'm just hoping that there's going to be a lot of people like me who, just in case they didn't know it was in 3D, will watch it at least a second time in 3D. Because even Kevin Feige says, like, the first one was their best 3D film. I
Yes,
don't know
he
how
did.
many they released.
And he said this
but-
is way better in 3D.
and
Yeah.
this is way better. So I'm hoping we at least get those second viewers like me. Like, I'm going to try to get a ticket.
I'm
for
going to be
3D.
one of those too.
By the
though.
way,
yeah.
there's something we're forgetting to mention. The Avatar 2, The Way of Water trailer.
Oh, yeah,
it's
that's
gonna
right.
play
in
with
front
Doctor
of the
Strange.
3D versions of this.
Yeah.
So
And so there's that too. But also for people like Ray, we're talking about the 70 screen times, right? The fact that this movie is just a hair over 2 hours, I think that's going to encourage a lot of people to go back and watch it a second time this weekend, because they're going to feel like it's not a 3-hour commitment. It's like, okay, it's a 2-hour commitment. I can go do that. So that might help it as well. All right. I'm going to give you now the definitive answer.
No,
No.
you're not.
208.
Oh, that was like a Price is Right showcase showdown. You
I
underbid
know,
me by.
that's cheating. You went
Yeah, but you
undercut
hit
all of us.
211. You're closer.
That's true.
So, I mean, I'm going to go 208. I think it's going to be huge, monstrous, over $200 million opening, massive. I'm going to come short of that. But listen, if they're projecting 222 as a top roof, it could exceed that. And it could come much closer to what Ray is saying here with the 230. So we're just going to have to wait and see. We'll have a better idea once we see it. Question is for you guys. What do you think about this? The day is upon us. The day is nigh. Doctor Strange is here. And it's going to be in theaters. Do you sense a lot of people going to it? Some of you maybe have already seen it, depending on what market you live in. Do you already plan on seeing it multiple times this weekend? How much do you think this movie's going to end up making this weekend? You know what? Why don't I make a poll out of that right now? We're gonna poll this. I'm gonna say, let me see if I can get this to work. I don't think I'm gonna. Oh yeah, will Doctor Strange 2 make over or under 220? Will Doctor Strange make over or under 220? We'll say over. Maybe if I spell it right. And we will say under. And then we'll post it. Okay, so we're asking over or under 220. Rob, let me just check in with you first. You said 210, so I'm assuming you're going to go with the under on 220.
Under on 220.
Chris, it sounds like you might go over.
I said at 220, but I'm cautiously optimistic it'll go over.
Okay, so you're
So I'll
gonna
go over.
lean on the over. Ray, you're taking the over on.
Yeah, I
it.
already voted.
All right.
I voted too.
I am taking the under right now. So let's go over to the poll here. So far, about 700 of you guys have voted already. 61% of you right now think it's going to make over 220 million. 62%. We're now at closing in on 1,000 votes. 38% of you guys are saying under. So it's still hanging in there. 63% are saying it's going to go over. 37% are saying it's going to be under. Either way, I think we can all agree it's going to make an awful lot of money. Question is for you. How much do you think Doctor Strange is going to make this weekend? Will it get that 220 mark? Will it crack the top 5? Whatever you guys think, jump on down to the comment section below and let us know your thoughts. All right, guys. With that down, we're going to hear from another sponsor of today's episode, our good friends over at Policy Genius. Hey, guys, we want to take a second to thank the sponsor of today's video, Policy Genius. Now, when it comes to the topic of life insurance, I get it. A lot of people ask, well, why even get life insurance? Well, listen, if someone relies on you financially, whether it's a child, a parent, or a business partner, life insurance gives you peace of mind that they have a financial cushion if something were to happen to you. Policy Genius is here to help you, and they're going to make sure you pay as little for it as possible. By making it easy to compare your options from top companies, Policy Genius can help you make sure you're not paying a cent more than you have to for the coverage you need. So here's how it works. Policy Genius is your one-stop shop to find the insurance that you need at the right price. Just click in the link down in the description or head on over to policygenius.com/Campea to get started. In minutes, you can compare personalized quotes from top companies to find your lowest price. You can save 50% or more on life insurance by comparing quotes with Policy Genius. And the process is easy because the licensed agents at Policy Genius are on hand through the entire process to help you understand your options and make decisions with confidence. Because ultimately, the Policy Genius team works for you, not for the insurance companies. And you can feel confident with Policy Genius because they don't add on extra fees. They don't sell your information to third parties, and they have thousands of 5-star reviews all across Google and Trustpilot. So again, guys, head on over to policygenius.com/Campea or click on their link down in the description below to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. And thank you again to Policy Genius for sponsoring this episode. And greetings. When you said coming back, I was expecting a countdown. Didn't get it. Damn it, Jonathan. All right. We are now back, and thank you to our friends over at Policy Genius. Okay, guys, we are now going to go over and start taking your live questions. I forgot to announce it before we went into to hear from our sponsor, but we have now opened up the super chats for people. So if you have a live comment or question that you want to throw in, you may go ahead and do that now. And it usually takes about 15 to 20 seconds for that. So how's your day, Rob?
Oh, it's well, let me just say, I have to say, even every time these Marvel movies come out, John, I feel my heart reignited. I feel joy. I get excited. I do. I feel a real palpable sense of excitement. This movie, whether people love it or hate it, I love seeing people get excited about genre entertainment.
I'm not kidding. When these guys walked in the studio, because I'm here really early. So when these guys came in the studio, I'm sitting here at my desk as Jonathan's getting the camera set up. I said, I know it doesn't look like it right now. I'm really excited for Doctor Strange.
Yeah,
I was just so tired this morning. Anyway, let's jump on over now and start getting to your questions you guys are sending in. Chris, what do we got here?
All right, Daniel Dang sending in a super chat here. I love the fact that Richard Hatch was against the Battlestar Galactica reimagined series, but then he ended up getting a great role as Tom Zarek in it.
Yeah, that was kind of funny. And I mean, of course, he's no longer with us, unfortunately. But it was really cool seeing the original Apollo pop up in the series. And again, it is my all-time favorite television series, that Ronald D. Moore, Battlestar Galactica. Absolutely loved it, and it was great seeing him in it. All right, what's next?
From Andy, 1 of 2. Saw a pic of Jensen Ackles leaning on Pattinson's Ratmobile and felt mixed. On one hand, I saw the biggest of my fanboy wet dreams. On the other hand, I thought, but Dean, that's not baby.
Of course, in Supernatural, Dean has what's the year of the car? I can never, I'm not a car guy, but he's got an old black car that everybody loves so much. And yeah, there was a little bit of similarities, right, between Pattinson's Batmobile and that car in Supernatural.
Yeah.
I mean, they kind of shared the same spirit. I get that. All right, what's next?
From Amin, is Christian still going to be on the show tomorrow? And any chances we maybe see other guests, like Dennis, perhaps at some point soon?
Well, fuck Dennis. No, Dennis, of course, is a dear friend of mine. Dennis has been a guest on the show.
Should I go looking for him, John?
What's
He
that?
might be somewhere around here. That's where you put all of us, right?
Oh, yeah, there. No, I mean, Dennis is a dear friend of mine, and he has been a guest on the show before. Of course, there's this little problem. He has a job. And so, we
What a
shoot
bullshit answer.
We shoot this show while people are at work, so it's a little bit difficult that. But yes, Harloff is still going to be on the show tomorrow. We're going to be talking some Doctor Strange and things like that. It'll be good to have him on. Christian's done some stuff with me as well, but it's been a beat. I mean, just a few months ago he did a spot on the show. Anyway, yes, Christian will be on the show tomorrow. All right, what's next?
Okay, from Franklin. Every time there is an MCU series, I wonder if they will surprise drop a feature-length finale. And I don't think I'm the only one. What are the realistic chances of this ever happening?
Oh my goodness, that's a good question. Zero. I mean, you're right. Every time we get to the final episode of one of these MCU shows, I'm like, it's 11:59. I keep refreshing, and then when it comes up, then as soon as it shows that the episode's there, it says the runtime, and I just want to see 131 minutes or something like that. But they never do. And like even in going into Moon Knight, right? Like Moon Knight, I really thought if anything is going to have like a big extended final episode, I mean, Moon Knight's going to have it, but it was one of the shortest episodes. So I honestly don't know. Do you think they're ever going to surprise us like that? I honestly can't see it happening.
No, because I mean, remember these shows are budgeted per episode. I mean, and adding that kind of time, you're talking about exponentially adding to the budget, visual effects, locations. I mean, it could double the actual production days. So I think when they say 6 episodes,
It's six episodes.
It's 6 episodes. There's not 7. There's not a special, generously supersized extra episode. There can't be because of money.
Because if they had that kind of content, they would want to make another episode to elongate how long it's in the conversation in the pop culture.
Yeah.
By the way, I'm just going to look, I've mentioned to you guys before, for those of you guys who are our channel members, and a big thank you to all you guys who are our channel members. I know YouTube is handing out like free super chats to our channel members, but they don't show up on our list. But I did just catch one coming in, so I'm just going to read it off here. Seung Lee, who's been a member for 2 months already. Thank you, Seung Lee, wrote, can you record Ray's reaction on some of the big Game of Thrones episodes? The Red Wedding episode started the reaction YouTube videos trend. Oh, I'm definitely going to try to figure out when Ray's going to get to that episode and try to record that for sure. All right, what's next?
From Al Renshaw, looks like either I'll be giving a $50 super chat next Monday, or Rob will be eating eggs with ketchup and barbecue sauce.
Okay.
Hashtag Deadpool.
So, Al, I'm sorry to do this, but I am canceling your bet with Rob. Yes, we on the John Campea Show do not make bets with monetary value things with our viewers at any time under any reason. So, no, Rob and I were just, Rob came to me and told me about
I
that.
got in trouble.
Yeah. So yes, we unfortunately I have to cancel the bet. Sorry about that, Al. But
It's actually a legal thing. We can't do it.
I mean, yeah, there is some hot water we can get into doing that. So unfortunately, we can't do that. All right, what's next?
From Raymond, Joe Coy's Easter Sunday trailer just dropped. It features life with his Filipino family, like Crazy Rich Asians, except the rich part. It features a diverse cast with Tia Carrera playing your auntie.
Yeah, listen, I'll
so
tell you what.
cute.
At CinemaCon, Joe Coy came out for like 15 minutes and killed the place.
Dying, man.
Killed it. He was really funny.
It was so funny. He just came out on stage to talk about this thing, and he went on, and it was just like, seriously, it was some of the funny. I've seen him live before. That was some of the funniest 15 minutes I've ever seen him do. And then they played a really bad trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, I think it's going to be cute,
Now,
though.
I've actually right back there, I've got an autographed right behind. Actually, Ray, can you grab that for me?
Oh, yeah,
It's
sure.
the
Let's say
pop.
Logan
that-
can grab
Give
it.
it to you?
Or Logan, can you grab that? Ladies and gentlemen, you're going to get to
Hey,
meet
Logan,
here
right here.
Chris Carr's husband.
Yeah.
Logan here. Thank you so much, Logan. I appreciate that. So I actually have
hired.
right here, and this is how much I love Joe Coy. I've got an autographed. Ann and I went to go see him. I got an autographed Joe Coy pop. I love Joe Coy. He's my favorite comedian right now. Nothing really inspiring about the trailer to Easter Sunday. Now we have seen many bad trailers to good movies, many great trailers to bad movies. I'm hoping this movie's going to be great, but I ain't going to lie. I didn't think the trailer was very
Especially following up a stand-up set where he killed.
Yeah.
good. Oh, did he
And it
ever?
wasn't
I mean, and then you're watching a movie that these weren't exactly the freshest scenes that in the world.
No.
And that-
there were some good moments.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's cute.
His stand-up
and I
didn't
like
even
it.
seem like rehearsed. It was like off the top because he was pointing at stuff in the
Oh
crowd.
no, he was talking with the girl who was on stage.
Yeah,
like
so
it was
that-
all, this dude can ad lib
This
like
guy's
nobody.
so funny, man.
He's so funny. I just hope it translates in the movie. All right, what's next?
From Checkers the Inventor. Any chance Marvel will do DC a solid and in-universe recast Ezra Miller's Flash in Multiverse of Madness? Sure, they don't have the rights, but I think WB would be thankful.
Yeah, if suddenly Kevin Feige said, "There's a new Flash. Who's Flash? He must be from another universe." Yeah, I don't see them doing that. Unfortunately, look,
Aaron Taylor Johnson recast as the Flash.
this time not as Quicksilver as the Flash. So I also heard another thing that apparently there was big development going on. I don't know all the details of the story, so correct me if I'm wrong. Take this with a grain of salt. But I was reading a headline today that there had been a Flash game in heavy development with the Ezra Miller Flash, and apparently they killed it.
Oh.
So I don't know.
Was that the axe of Zaslav?
I don't know if I think that was the axe of Zaslav. I don't know if that gives us any clairvoyance into the future about what happens. Look, I'll go out on a limb right now. We will not see Ezra Miller as the Flash again after the Flash movie. I still think the Flash movie's coming out. I still think he's going to be in the Flash movie. It's his movie. It's based on him. I'm going to go out on a limb, though, and guess that we're not going to see him as the Flash again after that. Whether I'm right or wrong, I don't know. But unfortunately, no. Kevin Feige has no say in that. All right, what's next?
From Elizabeth Rado. Will Netflix turn to day and day? I truly think this might help them. Look at HBO Max, Apple TV, and Disney Plus. More views and excitement for their content.
I don't know what you mean by day and day.
Yeah.
Oh, day and date, like put it in theaters and well, no, the other studios aren't doing it either. Like the other streamers have stopped. They experimented with it and they
I
realized
think-
this doesn't work.
I think
so.
he might mean weekly, like release every once
Oh,
a week.
okay. Well, okay. Yeah. So this brings back the big discussion we've had for a long time about dropping an entire season of something at once versus a
right.
week-to-week thing, right? Listen, I've said it before. I will say again. I think within 3 years, Netflix will be doing weekly releases of their shows. Look, as bingers, we love it when everything just drops at once. But the reality is for the streaming service, it is way better for them and way better for the show. There's just no debating it anymore. Like all the data clearly shows that when you release week to week, your shows are more successful. That's just it. That's the bottom line. More people talk about it because we talk about when The Mandalorian drops, we talk about The Mandalorian daily for 2 months. When the new season of a new half season of Stranger Things drops, people are going to talk about it for about 3 days. And then it's going to be yesterday's news. Whereas, with Moon Knight, we talked about Moon Knight for a month and a half.
Right.
And so I think within 3 years, but yes, but not any time in the immediate future.
John, like, imagine all the days of the week filled up with something like a new release for an episode of something that we're watching. That would be really cool.
That
Because
would
we
be-
have like
I would
Wednesday
love
and
it.
Thursday right now. It was Moon Knight and then Halo. Imagine Monday, Tuesday, Friday having episodes of something
If
really good.
Netflix, Disney, Paramount Plus, Amazon, like all had like premium, even if all of them just had one premium show running at a time, we would have so much cool
Every
content
day of the
to
week,
talk about
baby.
every day. All right, what's next?
From Scotty Hale, PSA 30 days away from The Boys season 3. Woo woo.
Is it really just a month away now?
Yeah.
I'm giddy. You guys have no idea how much I love The Boys. The Boys is so good. It delights me every time. I didn't realize it was just 30 days away. Very excited. Thank you for that. All right, what's next?
From Dante, hey Campea campers. Okay, I have bad news.
Uh-oh.
Did you see that in a recent Variety interview with Adam Aaron, he has stated that there may be no end to that annoying Nicole Kidman AMC ad. Ugh, bring on the filthy.
Again, look, it's a great ad for you to put on television or online to encourage people to go to AMC. There is no point to playing an ad telling people to go to AMC to people who are already sitting in AMC.
But how will I know where I am?
I don't know where. And again, I mean, I've said it before, but I say again because I think the analogy fits. It is like begging a girl to look at your dating profile when you're in the middle of intercourse with her. There's no point. You've arrived. Move on to something else. Stop this ad. Anyway, okay, what's next?
From Chef Rigo, game day.
Oh, yeah, there you go.
Got my tickets for 11 p.m. and we'll be tailgating at Yard House.
Nice.
Trying to see this madness buzzed.
You know, we're probably going. I probably should.
Oh
Say,
yeah, we're
whatever.
running out of it. You're running
We're
out
going
of
to be at Yard House. We're going to go to Yard House and probably hang out at Yard House before the movie. So if you come to Yard House, you want to come over and say
Booze
hi,
it
come over and
up.
say hi. We're going to be getting tailgated, getting
Yeah.
ready for this damn thing. Very excited for it. Cannot wait. Glad you got your tickets, man. I hope you have a lot of fun
Rob's
at
going
it.
to paint his face and wear a cape.
I am.
It's gonna be magical.
You gotta get ready.
Yeah.
You gotta get your team colors on here.
Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
gonna paint the green, the missing eye of
Yeah.
Agamotto.
Agamotto there.
Yeah.
All right, what's
Infinity
next?
Stones.
We should have brought ours. We have one. Oh,
By
what
the
are we
way,
thinking?
the first person who comes up to us, we forgot to mention this off the top. The first person who comes up to us and says hi to us at the theater tonight, Rob will give you his Doctor Strange hot
Oh
toy.
my God, that's so nice of you, Rob.
It's so cool of you.
Really
That is
good.
a big negatory, good buddy, on that. No. Oh. No.
Oh, did I-
No.
I'm sorry.
No.
I spoke out of turn, apparently.
No.
Apparently that's not true.
No.
All right, what's next?
From Zach, happy Strange Day. Got my ticket to go with my brother-in-law this afternoon at 4.
Nice.
So pumped and can't wait to see your reactions also.
Yeah, so keep an eye on the YouTube channel because as soon as we come out of theaters, we will be recording a quick right out of the theater reaction. Then we will do our full review on tomorrow's episode of the John Campea Show. And then on Sunday, because I'm giving you guys today, Friday, and Saturday to see the movie, Sunday we will do our big open spoiler discussion about it. We hope you guys can join us for all of that. All right, what's next?
All right, from Nathan giving us a $20 super chat.
Thank you,
so
Nathan.
much. Am I crazy to say that the Game of Thrones House of the Dragon teaser looked better than the Rings of Power teaser? Mind you, I love both properties.
I agree.
So do I.
I mean, I think the Rings of Power series will be the better show. But as far as, what you're showing us there, this was more coherent. Like, look, we already said that this trailer didn't really tell us the story, but it felt like it was telling something. The Lord of the Rings thing is a thing that the show was still 9 months away. And it was just basically that was a teaser that says, hey guys, there's a Lord of the Rings series coming. That's
Amazon
really all it was.
basically just found out they're pregnant.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
we've got 9 months of gestation left.
Whereas the other one was announcing the gender.
Yeah.
So yes, I think this, because of that, I think this one was the better trailer. All right, what's next?
All right, from Jay Master.
Jay
Over
Master.
under 5%, Disney Lucasfilm makes an announcement for Patty Jenkins' Star Wars Rogue Squadron at Star Wars Celebration on May 26th through May 29th. It's Mother's Day weekend for Doctor Strange 2.
Way over 5%. I'm not going to say 70 or anything like that, but I'd say it's a virtual coin toss. I'll go.
Yeah.
I'll even go. I'll go 51%.
say, I'd go over
So I'm
50.
not willing to put money on it, but I think that we will get an announcement there. Rob, what do you think?
They're going to announce something.
Okay.
Really?
Wow.
They're going to announce
So
something.
brave.
announce
You're
something.
so brave.
Wow.
Patty,
That's why I like Mariah. Never afraid to take the hard,
Yeah.
to make the controversial
you know what?
calls.
I'll tell you something. I think that they're not going to announce Patty Jenkins' Rogue Squadron.
Okay, so you're going to go.
I think they're going to announce either Kevin Feige's produced Star Wars movie, Taika Waititi's Star Wars movie.
Could be all of it.
Could be all of it. But I mean, as much as I would love to see a Rogue Squadron film, I don't sense a whole lot of excitement for Patty Jenkins doing it, especially after Wonder Woman 84. I think if they're going to drop an announcement, it's going to be something new. That we've only heard that Kevin Feige was going to produce a movie. Maybe he's producing Taika Waititi's thing. But can you imagine if they brought Kevin Feige and Taika Waititi out and announced
it'd be
that
huge.
Kevin Feige produced Taika Waititi?
Ooh,
Dude,
be a good day.
they
But
get
I'll tell you this right now. I would still be more excited for this Rogue Squadron movie because of the nature of what the movie is.
yeah,
right?
of course.
Because, granted, I did not like Wonder Woman 84. All right. Everybody knows that. But
Most people didn't.
Patty Jenkins is a remarkable director. And when she told the story about her personal connection to the whole idea of fighter pilots and aviation,
Yeah.
her family history to it, and the passion she brings to that, and she walks down that runway with a life-size X-Wing there and everything. It's like a Rogue Squadron movie is definitely a movie.
And
I
I'll
wanna see.
tell you something. I'll tell you why now that I'm thinking about it. Do you know it opens on the 27th of May?
Obi-Wan.
Well, yeah, but so does Top Gun Maverick.
Oh, that's
so
true.
the idea
Which would
of
be a great time to announce
exactly.
this.
That's why. So you know what they're going to announce?
I think
Yes,
that's
I've
gonna be
changed my mind.
Top F-18. X-Wing, you kicked the shit out of an F-18.
Yeah, come on now.
I do want to touch on this Doctor Strange on Mother's Day weekend thing too. I think that only is great for Doctor Strange. You know what moms really want? For their kids to leave them the hell alone. There are going to be so many dads taking their kids to theaters, and maybe that's not the right move given this body
Yeah,
order.
but this movie is
But,
about Wanda Maximoff wrecking shop to get kids. You know what I'm saying?
Her imaginary kids.
Cool moms will go see it, but
Yeah.
also other moms will be like, please take them and let me just be by myself.
All right. What's next?
From Harv's K. Loki plus Sylvie and now Mark and Steven and Layla. Who knew the MCU was so freaky?
Again, so look, I don't think it was that risque of a question. I asked a perfectly reasonable question.
Sure, John.
If Mark and Layla reconcile when they have sex, is that technically a threesome? Or even a foursome? Because you got Jake in there. I'm just wondering.
I never wondered that in my life.
You thought that for sure.
Now.
You're totally wondering that. All right.
Okay.
What's next? I don't know what you're pointing at.
Porn.
Okay.
So,
No. We just got a super sticker,
Yeah.
Brian Whitney, for $50.
Oh, well, thank you.
Thank
Well,
you,
we'll
Brian.
get to that when we get a little bit to. Oh, that's awesome. All right. What's next?
from the Mad Titan, 2 anime movies coming out this year still are Deer King and Unoho. Hype for both. Sorry if I mispronounced that too.
I
Inuho?
haven't heard of either. But I'm sure there are people watching this who totally know what it is you're talking about, and you just kept it on the radar. Well done.
I am embarrassingly out of the anime loop right now. I need to catch up on so many shows.
Well, just a quick thing here. One of our members, Brian Whitney, just wrote in, going to go see Doctor Strange at 5. Have a great time, my friend. And Corey Leach just became a member of the channel. Thank you so much for becoming a member, Corey Leach. Okay, what's next?
From Bam Ham Yum, I'm celebrating my birthday with my friends today with Doctor Strange and magic gummies and a designated driver. Good call.
Well, that's a good call. all
What are
across the
magic
board.
gummies?
Oh my gosh, Rob, I'll bring you some on a weekend.
I've
Your
actually,
birthday's coming up.
I mean, maybe it's the Canadian in me. I've never heard of magic gummies. I mean, I can get the implication of what we're probably talking about, but I actually don't know what magic gummies
I'm
are.
assuming we're talking about some weed gummies.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, and that's the case. Yeah.
I only eat Haribo gummies. I'm sorry. If
It's
they
really
make-
Haribo-
once you're over 30, you have weed gummies because your knees hurt.
Have
Like,
you ever
it's-
read the user reviews on Amazon of Haribo gummies?
of the sugarless ones.
amazing.
Of certain ones? This was some of the most entertaining things you can ever do in your life is just read the reviews of the sugarless Haribo gummies on Amazon. You will read it for hours and laugh yourself
It's the
sick.
greatest thing ever.
All right, what's next?
From the man with a master plan. I'm going to use all my A-list just for Ray. He needs a hot toy. Also, my YouTube feed is still filled with jazz music, so it worked.
I mean, that's so. He was trying to come up with a way. How do we avoid getting the Doctor Strange spoilers? I know. Change the recommendation algorithm by just playing an entire day of jazz, smooth jazz, and that's all they'll recommend.
Yep.
Good idea, and I hope it worked for you.
It's
All
an
right,
amazing algorithm.
what's next?
Sin Vendetta sending in a $20 super chat. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Sin Vendetta. By the way, just quickly, Mitch Matheson just became a member of the channel. Thank you, Mitch. Appreciate that, man.
From Sin, John, even though you broke my heart by saying no on a movie club for both Event Horizon and Basketball, I absolutely love both those movies. I'm just curious on the panel's quick thoughts on both of these movies.
Basketball is clever. I used to love the poster with the two guys on I used to love the poster. Basketball is clever, but, they create a game and whatever. Dark Horizon, Event Horizon, I should say, is one of those films that you either absolutely think is just trash or think there's hidden genius in it.
Yep.
Would you like to borrow my Blu-ray?
No, I hate it. I'm one of the people that think it was trash. I didn't like the movie at all.
I've never seen it. I don't know what it is.
It is a very respectable sci-fi horror film with great production design, great acting. And
It's got great acting.
What's not this? An engine that takes you to hell and back.
Yep.
Come on.
By the way, I'm just going to throw out there that Jesse Prince, one of our director level members of the show, is just saying, "Hey, John and crew, I'm seeing Doctor Strange at 7:30. Have a great time, man. I hope we all enjoy it. As a matter of fact. All right, what's next?
From Elizabeth Gerardo, happy anniversary, Chris and Logan. Thanks, Elizabeth.
Anniversary?
It's our anniversary.
Oh,
yeah.
happy anniversary, guys.
That's why I was like, I'll go see the movie with you guys, but I'm going to bring my husband.
That's right. I forgot about it. Well, how long have you guys been married?
We've been married for 4 years, and then we've been dating for about 10. We've been in for about 10 years. Yeah. Yeah.
They've been living together for about 20 years.
Yeah.
What was the first movie you guys saw together?
The first movie we saw. Well, that was the first movie we went on a date for. The first movie we saw together was
Rise, like
Avengers.
the Owls of Gaul, Rise of the Guardians?
No,
or the
Christmas
one.
one.
With Jack Frost.
Yeah.
Get that one. Okay.
Yeah.
Very cool. All right, what's next?
Oh, hold on.
Yes.
Happy birthday to Bama Yum, whatever his name was.
Bama
We forgot
Hamma Yum.
The one who just wrote in before the super
Oh,
chat.
wow,
It
happy
was his
birthday,
birthday.
man.
So happy birthday, man. Or woman.
All right, what's next?
From All Hail Thanos. Have you seen the outfit? It's so good.
That's the
movie.
James Brolin one, right?
No, that's the movie with
Mark Rylance.
Mark
Yes.
Rylance.
Yes, you know
Thriller
what?
one.
Still have not.
I need to
Still have not. Need to, though, because the way everything everybody describes it sounds exactly like something I would love, and I haven't had a chance to catch up on it yet. But thank you for keeping it on my radar, man.
We haven't had a lot of time for anything
not
right
had a
now.
lot of time for anything, dude.
Even sleep.
All right, what's next?
From Andy, I thought a good name for your show would be Hot Topic, but then I realized you would probably get sued by corporate emos and goths.
That actually, you know what? Yeah, Hot Topic is not a bad idea for a name. You're right. You know what? I'm not going to lie. That place is made for 16-year-old skateboarders. I walk into a Hot Topic every time we walk by one.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I just really like a lot of the stuff I find. Yep. I got a lot of my pops. A lot of my Funko Pops I get from Hot Topic. So I go in there quite a bit. By the way, I was going to say, one of our members, Corey, writes in, I wonder if the whole Netflix fiasco will push them into a hybrid theatrical model with certain properties, could help offset subscription losses. Nope. They're not going. What Netflix will not do is, man, our subscriptions are hurting. Let's do something that will hurt our subscriptions more. Like that would be counterintuitive to their entire business model. So no, I mean, I would like to see a world where that happens, Corey, but honestly, that would probably wreck them. So I don't think they're going to do that. All right. Thanks for writing that in, man. What's next?
From Josh Katz Curtis, going to see Multiverse of Madness tonight at the New Beverly Cinema in 35mm. Words cannot express how excited I am. Game day.
Game day.
Game day.
I mean, going to see it. First of all, the New Beverly is a really cool cinema to go something like that in. What's the difference between watching it in 35mm and saying another theater?
Well, 35 is you're actually seeing a film print.
Right.
Like light is being projected through celluloid. And that's because Quentin Tarantino's theater. He refurbished
he
it.
only allows
35 millimeter. And I would imagine, I mean, they probably make 35mm prints for a lot of overseas venues, but it's a rare thing to see a 35mm print here in the States because not anybody really runs, none of the big chains are running 35mm. So they probably struck a special print that maybe Quentin had to pay for out of his own pocket. I don't know.
Exciting times. By the way, Pablo Zuengo, one of our director level members, wrote in, thanks for the good work on the show daily. Well, thank you, Pablo, and thank you for being a director level member of our channel, man. We appreciate that very much. All right, what's next?
From Jay Master, hey crew, breaking news from Variety. Disney Plus and Rick Riordan himself cast Aryan Shimhadri, sorry, Disney Spin, and Leia Sava Jeffries, Empire, as Grover and Annabeth.
I believe this is talking about the Percy Jackson series.
Oh, okay.
I think they're talking about the Percy Jackson. Yeah, I read that before. I mean, two actors that nobody's really heard of in roles that nobody's really clear about. We decided not to make that one of our topics, but yes, that whole Percy Jackson thing, it is coming together. Obviously, the kid from the Ryan Reynolds film,
Oh, from Adam Project.
The Adam Project,
Walter
is going to be our
Scobie?
new Percy Jackson, so
Scobie?
that's exciting to see. So looks like they're putting that cast together now. All right, what's next?
From Assistant Professor X. Hi, guys. Love the studio.
Oh, thank you, man.
Avengers 10 years already? Remember when we surprised Joss that he got the gig by using the PA system on the set of Glee?
I do not know that story.
I don't know either.
I think that's a personal story. It wasn't a question. It was, he said, I remember when we surprised.
Oh,
sorry.
okay. I see. Yeah, I remember when they announced Joss Whedon. I mean, like, look, all the stuff surrounding, some of the uncomfortable stuff surrounding Joss Whedon these days, especially with the Buffy stuff and whatever.
Yeah.
All that notwithstanding, it doesn't rewrite history. I remember when they announced that he was going to do Avengers, it caught a lot of people by surprise, but everybody got kind of excited about it. And he just, again, I think that's the movie that established that comic book movies are now kings of the hill.
Yeah.
And I still personally think it's the greatest comic book movie of all time. And I still personally believe it's the most important comic book movie of all time. So anyway, yeah, there's that. All right, what's next?
From Chuck the Mystery. Rob recommended a terrific film for my Paul Newman binge, Absence of Malice with Sally Field.
Yeah.
John and Chris, have you seen it? Game day.
Oh, yeah.
I haven't.
I think there's maybe one or two Paul Newman films that I haven't seen yet. I think I've pretty much seen them all. But for me, it's still Cool Hand Luke. Like, that is just like the cool, I mean, no pun intended. That is the coolest movie. Like, Cool Hand Luke.
Oh, it is.
Is still like one of the best.
I mean, Absence of Malice was one of those movies that I went to see with my mom back in the 80s when it first came out. And I really liked it. It was Sally Field, Paul Newman. It dealt with journalistic integrity. It's a great movie. But that was yesterday. I think our viewer asked yesterday. So you watched it for the last 24 hours. So, yeah.
Very cool. All right.
Or maybe that was on Mailbag.
That was probably Mailbag.
Yeah, I was
so I don't
doing
remember the
Mailbag
question.
yesterday. So, yeah.
All right. What's next?
From Andy, everyone is guessing that what cameos will be in Multiverse of Madness. Well, I'm guessing what Nickelback song Raimi will play. Y'all playing checkers, but I'm playing chess.
Yeah, I mean, the answer is it doesn't matter because it'll make it better. It'll be glorious. That's what Kevin Feige knows. When you add in some Nickelback, your movie gets 30% better. It's science. It's science.
No, it's not.
Canadian science.
Yeah, I'm not a Nickelback fan. But anyway, there you go. All right, what's next?
From Khalil, what odds would you give to us getting a Moon Knight sequel series? Over under 60%.
5%.
Yeah.
Like almost nil. He'll be back, just not. I don't think he'll be back in his own TV series. I think that's pretty clear now. At least that's what Oscar Isaac is suggesting. Okay, what's next?
From Mods of Jada, saw Doctor Strange yesterday. I'm tapping out of MCU.
Well, listen, look, I have been saying for a while, I have been less enthused about the MCU post Endgame. We've had some major wins like Shang-Chi, like Spider-Man No Way Home, like WandaVision. But we've also had some more out of them than I've ever seen. In Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, Moon Knight was good. Didn't like Hawkeye. And so I'm not going to be surprised if we start hearing from more people that maybe the MCU is running out of steam for them. So we'll see, though. We'll see. Winning cures everything. Mm-hmm. So let's see what kind of a streak we'll be on here. Thanks for sharing your thoughts, man. All right, what's next?
From Dave, a season 2 to any Disney Plus Marvel show makes no sense. The characters are all connected to the films, so if there were to be a season 2, it would all depend on what happens in the films.
Yes and no. Some things are more connected than others, right? Like, for instance, we had Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Look, we know there's a Captain America movie coming, but for argument's sake, there's a Falcon and the Winter Soldier. Okay, there hasn't been one mention of Falcon or the Winter Soldier since that series. You could very easily come back to them there. So while everything is interconnected, some things are really connected and some things less so.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
From Mr. McGuire, Hollywood Highlights as a show title, not the best.
No. I'm not,
I like how they submit it and they're like, sorry.
Yeah, like,
What?
Really
Nah.
sweet though.
it's like walking up to a girl in the bar. Excuse me, I was just wondering how your day's going. I'm sorry, this isn't going well.
Do you want to give me your number? Probably not. I'm sorry. I suck. I'll see you later.
Yeah. That's, All right.
And that's how Logan and I got married.
That is how much. Listen, when I tell people that I never made the first move with any woman I've been involved with, including Ann. Ann had to make the first move. She phoned out and reached out to me on the show. But people think that's because like, no. You want to know why I've never made the first move? Because I have no game. I have none. Zero game. If any relationship I've had in my life depended on me making the first move, I would be a very, very lonely guy because I have absolutely no game. It's like, hey, so you like stuff? I mean, that's pretty
Come on,
much,
man. You must have just a little.
I have none.
Just a little.
Everyone has a teensy bit of game.
I'm the guy in high school that I took my Transformers boxes, cut the figures out of them, and pasted them on the wall with their power strips. Wow. You think there are many women came in my bedroom? Like even my mom would go, kid, we gotta talk. Like it was bad. And it's pretty much like that to this day.
I feel like Rob was that kid too, but he was doing fine.
Dude, I got Arshem on my desk. Like, I have no game.
No, I was one of the first people with a VCR.
Oh shit.
So I'm like, you want to come over and see an R-rated
God.
movie?
Dang.
Wow.
Yeah.
Robbie's getting
Rob-
I
Almost had
lasers, I'm
laser
telling you. I was. Yeah.
By the way, I just want to give a shout out to Eric Kahn, who became a producer level member of our channel. Thank you for that, Eric. Good to have you on board, man. All right, what's next?
From Tyler Pfeiffer.
No game.
We need a video tour of Rob's Hot Toys. Do you have any from Lord of the Rings?
Well, Hot Toys doesn't make Lord of the Rings figures,
I
but
went and looked into it.
Sideshows made some. I have a great Gandalf hot toy that came out recently from, I think it's Rasmus Toys. And they did it with all rooted hair. It's amazing.
By the way, just quickly, one of our director level members, Ritwick, just writes in. He says, I love this show. I've been here since last November. It's my daily watch. I love this community and people. New studio is so good. Congratulations, sir. Thank you so much. Going to watch Doctor Strange 2 tomorrow with my brother's birthday. Let's go. I hope you guys have a great time.
Yeah,
Happy
Ritwick.
birthday to your brother. And thanks for being a member of our channel.
John,
All right.
I don't know if this will show up on the stream out, the list you're getting.
If it's super chat badges, they will.
They will. Okay.
Yeah.
Because we've got two good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what's next?
From Michael, going to see Multiverse of Madness in Dolby tomorrow.
Nice.
What big surprises are
surprises.
you expecting from the film?
Well, if we're expecting them, there aren't big surprises. I mean, look, we know Professor X is there. I'm not going to mention them, but almost everybody's seen the leaks. Like, even if you're not trying to see them, you've probably seen the leaks. So, but I still think there are surprises to be had.
I think there are too.
And I don't want to even theorize about them. I just want to see what the movie's going to have to give us. All right, what's next?
From Batgear Play, I think there is a crack in the Marvel studio. They are creating movies and series.
I don't know what that means. There's a crack in. Okay.
Like, okay.
You are correct, sir. They are making both movies and series. You're absolutely
And
right
crack
about that.
might be involved.
And crack might be
it's not like
involved.
maybe it's broken or cracked between the two of them. It's not. I don't know if it's not quite.
A
I
crack
don't
in
know.
their multiverse of sorts.
All right, what's next?
Bye-bye.
Stubble McShave. A reason that Knives Out 2 and 3 and the Scorsese movie cost so much is that there are no back-end points in streaming. All special compensation is up front.
Yeah, it absolutely is. So that's the thing. When what was it? 400 million that Ryan Johnson got to make Knives Out 2 and 3. $400 million. That means he could make these movies for $50 million apiece and bank $300 million. Now, of course, he's got to share that around with some other people.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
Daniel Craig. and
But I
his
mean, but you're
producers.
absolutely right. And we discussed that before. You're
Daniel
absolutely right
Craig's
because
pretty cheap though, right?
there's no box office point deals. It's like, hey, we'll pay you for this. We get the streaming rights to it, and you get to collect this money, and away you go. And that was a big coup d'etat. But I don't know how many more of those deals are in the future. I venture to guess not too many. All right, what's next?
From Tim, Game Day.
Game day.
Game day.
Oh, my first viewing of Doctor Strange 2 is like my first viewing of No Way Home. Only 3 trailers before.
Sorry, bring that up again. I want to see that. I want to see that. Who was that that wrote that? Was that
That's
Tim?
from Tim.
Doctor Strange 2 was my first view, No Way Home. Only 3 trailers before. I mean, they brought it up at CinemaCon. Which studio was it? Was it Paramount? I think it was Paramount. That came out.
Okay.
Oh yeah, no, it was. It
That
was Paramount.
The chairman of Paramount came out and said, and it was the first time I'd ever heard a studio person say it, and I was so glad. And he said to the theater owners, there are too many trailers. This is hurting the movie-going experience. Movie theater owners, listen to me, all right? We're always worried about how do we get people back. You get people back to the theaters by giving them a great experience when they come. And you're off to the wrong fucking start when their first experience in your door is sitting for 30 fucking minutes watching commercials when they paid 20 fucking bucks to be there in the first goddamn place. Am I upset about this? Am I passionate about this? Yes.
Passionate.
You're already starting off with a bad experience. All right? It's like when I bring my Tinder date home and she sees my Transformers on the wall. Bad start to the experience. It does not work out well. And then you show goddamn, even Heartbreak feels good in a place like this. I'm already here. I don't need to see an AMC commercial.
I think
Listen
these
to me,
days,
people.
you might find a girl that would be impressed if you had Gen 1 Transformers on the wall.
This is very
Maybe.
true.
It's a rare.
You know what?
It's rare, though.
You know what? I'm telling you, the cute barista at Starbucks right here in town saw that I had a Marvin the Paranoid Android sweatshirt, and she's like, "That's Marvin the Paranoid Android," and she started writing Hitchhiker's Guide quotes on my cups every morning.
What a segue.
That's
Stop
pretty
making
cool.
people fall in love with you.
Yeah, there you go.
I don't think
All
John's
right.
Old enough to be like
coming
her
to the movies
grandfather,
today.
but that's okay.
All right, what's next?
From Shaky Jake 93. What's up, Campea crew? What were each of y'all's first impressions when you saw Tenet for the first time? I look forward to watching you guys every day, so keep up the great content.
So, look, my first experience with Tenet wasn't a great one because in classic Christopher Nolan stylings, his audio mix is awful. Now, look, there are parts of that movie that we as the audience are not supposed to be able to hear and understand what's being said. There are key narrative parts of the movie that we're not supposed to. And I understand that. I get that. But there are many parts that we are, and I just had no effing idea what anybody on the screen was saying because the audio mix was so bad. And I remember that goes back to the first press screening they did of The Dark Knight Rises. That was the second one, right?
Third
The one with Bane.
Yeah,
That's the third one.
But it's after
Oh,
Batman Begins, Dark Knight, and then Dark Knight Rises.
Sorry, so it was for Bane. It was for Dark Knight Rises. And they got about 40 of us journalist types, and they brought us down with Christopher Nolan to this IMAX screen in Los Angeles, and we got to watch the first 15 minutes of it, right? And I remember coming out of it, like everybody's gathered around Christopher Nolan saying, "You're a genius, this is great." And he is a genius, he's wonderful. But then away from Christopher Nolan, we're all like, did any of you understand what the F was being said on screen? Not a thing. And it wasn't even yeah,
Bane.
it wasn't even just Bane. It was like other people saying none of us had any idea what was being said on screen because his mix is so bad. I don't know how a filmmaker that good makes things. Anyway, sorry, I'm going on too long about this, but your first impression of Tenet.
Well, I've had multiple impressions of Tenet, and I just don't think it entirely works. I mean, I love what he was going for. I love the way it looked. I thought the sound mix was absolutely a problem. He's trying to create a reality. But the thing is, when you're recording dialogue and sweetening dialogue, if anybody talks in a movie, if anybody opens their mouth and has dialogue come out and you as an audience can't understand it, that's a problem.
Yeah.
It's a problem no matter what you're doing, and it does not create verisimilitude. It takes you out of the movie.
And when you have a story that is as complex as Tenet, every single word matters. Because even if you can hear everything crisply, there's a lot of viewers are going to get lost. And as soon as there's some dialogue the audience can't understand, doesn't know what's going on, then they're going to get even more lost. So, yeah, anyway, that was a problem. Okay, sorry, we spent too much time on that. What's next?
From Kevin Cow.
Kevin!
Love this new old format of the show, guys. Moon Knight is great overall, but the finale was a letdown.
I agree.
Rob still have the Mando 1/4 scale, and if Ray wins that bet, I'll give John a good deal on the hot tub.
Kevin, I
thank you
keep
so much,
forgetting.
Kevin.
Hold on to that. I want it.
There's a 1/4 scale. What is it, Mando?
Yes.
Is it Mando himself?
Yes.
Can I buy it?
What? You're richer than me, so.
Wow.
I don't know. You just bought a house that's worth twice the amount as mine.
No. I mean, you if you would like to buy.
The
I would
flexing
defer
on
to
the
you.
show.
It's
I
really
own
good.
property.
The flexing.
It's
Oh.
one of the great quarter
That's
scale
true.
hot
Ray
toys
does own an
they've
island.
ever-
Ray has his own island.
Ray's
since then.
the
By
richest
force.
man on this show.
All right.
really good.
What's next?
Do you have two, Kevin?
From Fredo. Hey guys, game day.
Game day.
I'm watching Doctor Strange tomorrow at 10 p.m. and I cannot wait.
I mean, well, you're going to have to another day. But no, seriously, I'm so psyched. We're going in just a couple hours to go watch it. I'm very stoked to see this. I'm still more excited for Thor: Love and Thunder, but I am significantly enthused for this movie today. I can't wait for us to watch it. All right, what's next?
From Mr. Colonel. Hi, John. Since you mentioned you used to play competitive table tennis, What was your life before this show? And also, you were looking for things to do with the space in your garage studio. One of two, maybe. Check 11 VR. It's an hyper-realistic VR game. You can play alone or with others online. There's a video about it in Table Tennis Daily on YouTube. I've tried it and loved it.
Yeah, so Ann and I, we got and really adored our, what was the name of our VR? Oculus. Yeah, we got the Oculus and we really enjoy it. I mean, obviously, who doesn't love playing Beat Saber? But they also had some really good table tennis. So there's a couple things that Ann and I have been discussing about what to do with the converted garage now that it's no longer our studio. One has been putting in a pool table, maybe some classic video games up against the wall, make a game room out of it. We thought about making a theater room out of it. I have had the thought about turning it into a big VR room. Now, I don't know that that's what we're going to do, but I am toying with the idea. Ray doesn't like the idea.
Because it's like, if they ever make full games, then maybe. But I don't know. Maybe you should wait for the PlayStation 5's VR, because I hear that's going to be like the VR to get, like what they're trying to do with it. But as far as right now is concerned, I don't think VR is even worth it. Like I haven't touched.
I don't disagree with you.
Yeah.
I'm struggling with what to do with that room now.
I love VR, but you should go with my idea.
What was your idea?
Start filling it up with balls, like a ball pit.
I had a ball
and then
pit
have
in
a big
college.
screen. Yeah,
It's so fun.
See.
I can't even touch that one.
All right.
Oh,
What's next? Big ball.
Easy.
what they call Rob? Balls pit.
Just not even going to go
Like
on
a
with that one.
McDonald's free plate.
Nope.
Guys, we are running out of time.
Down Rules 09, visiting Cali again for my graduation in a few weeks. Going to take my parents to see Multiverse of Madness.
Nice.
Not sure if we should go to Westwood, the Chinese, or City Walk, or maybe AMC Burbank.
Look, honestly, there are my favorite places to go. But if you're visiting LA, there is no more historic, more important, more significant movie theater in the world than the Chinese theater. You've got to go there. I don't know, Rob.
You got to go there and sit in row N or M in the center. If you go there, you got to go because there's a tour. They usually have costumes on display, but the presentation, the screen is gigantic. The theater is historic. It's a great experience.
There's so much history there, and it's beautiful. And I mean, look, that's not my first choice to go to a movie normally.
Right.
But if you've not been there, you got to visit the Chinese theater, and it is fantastic. All right, what's next?
From Russell, time to enter the multiverse and descend into madness. Let's go. 4 p.m. couldn't get here quick. IMAX, here we come.
Yeah, you know what? I think we're seeing it in IMAX. I don't think I was able. I wanted to get into the Dolby. I wanted the Dolby Prime, but I think it was sold out when we got the IMAX. I can't remember. We'll know when we get there.
Yeah.
We're going to see it on a great screen, regardless. Great screen, regardless. Hope you have a good time, man. All right. What's next?
From Raphael, 80s sci-fi film Enemy Mine.
Love Enemy Mine. Louis Gossett Jr. It was basically
Dennis Quaid.
It was basically the basis for one of the episodes of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
The Enemy.
The Enemy.
Third season.
And
of course.
Gerard at Tanagra. Is that the
No,
link?
that's Darmok.
Dharma. Okay,
That's Darmok.
But that's the one that's basically based on Enemy Mine.
Yeah, I mean, it kind of is. You're right because they're fighting against an enemy. But Enemy Mine is like, isn't it Hell in the Pacific? The Japanese soldier and the American soldier.
Oh, might
that
be.
It's taken from that. Yeah, but that movie. ILM used practical effects in that where they weren't using motion control photography, and it has a really great look to it. You know, John, you can borrow my Blu-ray.
What's next?
You can put it in your.
Let's move on here. What's next?
From the Pleasure Minion. Getting a super chat in is like the State Farm commercial with the old fisherman dangling a $20. Oh, you almost had it. Gotta be quicker than that.
I know. Look, it is. We used to be. We could have super chats open for like 20, 25 minutes, but we literally now are only able to have super chats open for about a minute and a half, and then we have to.
So we can get to them live on air.
Oh yeah, because we made see what we used to happen here on the John Campea Show. For those of you guys who are relatively new, we would just take in questions, and if we couldn't finish off all the questions, we'd say, "Oh, we'll get to it in a companion video." But sometimes that companion video would come in a day. But sometimes the companion videos got really backed up, and sometimes people would have to like wait 3 days, 4 days. And I made a decision that if somebody sends in a super chat, That super chat is getting answered that day. We are not waiting for it for a companion video. It's going to be, if it comes in that show, we're going to answer it on that show. But that means we have to limit how many get sent in because we want to make sure we maintain our commitment to answering all of them that get sent in. But that does mean that the window got a little bit shorter. So now we're about 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes open. So yeah, you got to be quick on the draw to get those in. All right, what's next?
From Andy, heroes are often defined by their greatest arch nemesis. Examples include Batman and the Joker, Superman and Lex Luthor, and the Flash in Hawaii.
I didn't know where they were going with that, but I like it. That was good.
done,
yeah,
Andy.
well done. Well done. All right, we'll give you that one.
Andy
All right.
gets the aviation shot of the day.
What's next?
From Remember Bulldog, today is game day. Golden
Game
Doctor
day.
Strange, Multiverse of Madness today at 7.
It's always, this is one thing I love about movies. Is the fact that you can get two different people from completely different walks of ethnic backgrounds, socioeconomical environments, gender, geographic locations, whatever, and you can put them in the room and they can both start talking about Lord of the Rings together. That's one of the great things. And here we are, fans all over the world, and we're all talking about, we're going to go see Doctor Strange together. And we're all like holding hands going, oh my God, we're going to go see Doctor Strange together. And this is like one of the best things about being a movie fan and being a part of a movie fan community. All right, so we're excited too, man. Okay, what's next?
Oh, Jonathan, did I skip one from Raphael? They just popped in.
Nope.
Oh.
No, we got
Okay,
it.
because we read that one.
Okay.
Okay. The Mad Titan just started Babylon 5. London reminds me of Feral Penguin.
Listen, I had a buddy
Feral Penguin?
who did my original podcast, the Movie Blog Audio Edition. For those, I don't know how many of you remember that, but my buddy Darren Connolly, who is still up there in Canada, he was a fanatical Babylon 5. Fanatical. I mean, as much as you talk about how much you hate Star Trek, that's just him all the
Wait,
time.
I love Star Trek.
No, you don't.
I love Star
No,
Trek.
you,
I don't
you
think
love
so
a
either,
certain era of Star Trek. So, but he would talk about Babylon 5 all the time.
40
Like,
years of Star Trek.
Why did you say Star Trek?
I know. I opened the floodgates. Sorry, Jonathan.
But I love Babylon 5 too.
But yeah, I mean, there are some sci-fi fans that think like,
Right.
to this day, there are some Babylon 5 fans who like think that Babylon 5 is the pinnacle of sci-fi, stuff like that. I mean, I liked Babylon 5. I do. I never got into it that much, and I never thought it was that great myself, but a lot of people just swear by that. What did you think of Babylon 5?
I love Babylon 5, and I think it has two. Actually, it has one character, the character of Jakar, played by Andreas
Yep.
Katsulas, is one of the great.
Didn't he pass away recently?
He did. He passed away a while ago, and that change, turning from seeing what happens to his character and Londo Mollari, the Centauri and the ambassador, it's incredible. I mean, seasons 2, 3, and 4 of Babylon 5 are some of the finest televised science fiction. I mean, Straczynski didn't know whether he was going to get canceled or not, so they made it so the end of the 4th season could have ended the series if they needed to. Season 5 is a little weaker because they ended the Shadow War early, but it's still awesome. I mean, I remember there's an episode called, I think it's just called Zahadum, where they go to the homeworld of the shadows. It was awesome.
And didn't what's the guy's
J.
name?
Michael Straczynski.
Straczynski. Did they announced a while that he's trying to get a reboot of it going?
They were going to do like the CW reboot of it.
Yeah.
And
I
the
haven't
only
heard anything since though.
It's rough. I mean, I think HBO Max has the remastered series. It's a little rough because the effects are early video toaster looking. So, but it's a great show.
Did you or Logan ever watch Babylon 5?
I didn't. Did you watch Babylon 5, babe?
Oh, okay,
Yeah.
I thought Logan liked
Yeah.
Babylon 5. Yeah.
What'd you like about it?
Well, remember, there's no mic on
Oh,
it,
that's
so
true.
people are just listening to dead air right now. Okay, so what's next?
From Silent W197, seeing Multiverse of Madness in IMAX 3D in 5.5 hours.
Nice.
I made the mistake of looking up reviews and saw X kills X.
Yeah,
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
that's there's a lot of that going around. But you know what? You knew the Titanic sank when you went in to go see it. It's not about what happens in there. It's about being on the journey of the movie. So just keep that in mind when you go to see it. And I hope you have a great time. Okay, what's next?
From Sin Vendetta again, $20 again. Thank you so
thank
much.
you, Sin Vendetta. Appreciate that, man.
Actually, John, I've heard several movie pundits, including The Real Rejects, Jeremy Johns, and more, say that Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness could have used an additional 15 to 20 minutes of screen time.
I have not heard that. And like I said, I've gone through about 150 of them. So, like, I'm sure somebody has said it somewhere, but that's not been the general consensus. That there's not been any general consensus that's there. I'm sure somebody has, but I mean, I'm probably sure there's somebody who says it should have been shorter, but the general consensus hasn't been that yet. All right, what's next?
From Andres Vargas, love the show, just showing some support. Thanks for all you do.
Oh, thank you, Andres. It's always cool when somebody wants to write in just to say something supportive. Appreciate that, man. All right, what's next?
The Pleasure Minion again. Also, yesterday I booked my first co-star.
Oh, wow, that's awesome.
It's for the revival of Justified. I'm so happy I might have a heart attack. I guess I better go see the doctor today. LOL. Get it?
Oh,
pretty
get
cool.
the
Good
doctor.
Good job. Good job.
Break a leg, man.
Congratulations,
Break a
man.
leg.
That is awesome. That's
amazing.
always a good thing to hear.
Oh, yay. And you'll get residuals and you'll have on-set
Well,
experience.
depends on how much of a role it is, I suppose.
If you have a co-star, as long as you get that screen time, you get things. My stint on Last Week Tonight that I did like 5 years ago, I still get money for.
Really?
Yeah, and that's like Last Week Tonight is basically a news show, right? So it's
Yeah.
ridiculous that it still runs.
That's amazing. All right, what's next?
From Suthius, because there's a new studio, I feel as though Mr. C should start wearing suit jackets again. Also, have y'all double checked the ceiling for leaks?
Yeah, so that was a big problem with another studio we were in before. It was massive leaks
Two
in
of
the
them.
ceiling. Yeah, it still gives Jonathan nightmares. So for those of you who don't know, a reference to the jackets. So there was, for about a 2-month period, that I would wear a suit jacket when I would do the show. That
Oh, you did you?
I did.
Oh, yes, he
Fancy.
did.
That was brought on because Anne was very proud of my show, and she decided to sit down and show a bunch of my show to her mother,
okay.
my mother-in-law, Ray's mom. To which her first response was, "Why John dress like hobo?" was the phrase. That hurt. And so that wounded me. So for a few months after that, I wore a suit jacket for about 2 months.
Still wore the same thing underneath.
Still
Just
wore the
added a
same
suit
thing
jacket on
underneath.
top.
So it was a very classy
So it's
hobo.
ultimate hobo.
Yeah.
Yes, the ultimate hobo. But no, I don't think I'll be bringing the suit jackets back.
That needs to be another shirt. Just why John look like hobo?
All right, what's next?
From Moist Twinkie.
Oh, yes.
Aaron's favorite username. Sending in a $20 super chat.
Thank you, Moist Twinkie.
Hello, Campea crew and the Multiverse of
The
moistness. I would love to see Moon Knight show up in Midnight Suns. That would be epic.
Well, first of all, there has to be a Midnight Suns. So that of course is one of the big problems.
Yeah.
So let's start with that. Let's get a Midnight Suns and let's see if Moon Knight can show up in that. But I mean, if there's any place for him to truly land, that's it. I agree with you. All right, what's next?
From Spencer P.
By the way, we got to make sure Aaron sees that username
yeah.
because that's fantastic.
Yeah, she
All
loves
right,
that
what's
one.
next?
From Spencer P. How do y'all feel about Obi-Wan being a miniseries? I'm a little disappointed as these miniseries Disney Plus have been putting out have just felt too short.
Okay, sometime next week we're going to do a dedicated segment on the fact that 6 episodes does not work. It just doesn't, because one of two things happens. It either feels incredibly short and like disjointed with its storytelling and its pacing because it's just too short, or it ends up feeling like an overly stretched out movie that just had a lot of stuff that it didn't need to have, but they had to justify stretching it. It's like, pick one or the other. 6 episodes does not work in general. Now, obviously, you can put out a 6-episode thing. It could be the greatest thing in the world, but I think that's going to be lucky if and when that happens, and it'll be the exception to the rule. I just don't think this 6-episode thing works, and they should either just make it a long movie or make it a properly length series, 8, preferably 10 to 12 episodes, but I don't know. We'll talk about it sometime next week. All right, what's next?
From Stupid Heads. Introducing Robert Meyer Burnett as The Watcher.
That's I don't know if you're referring to old school, but a friend of
He's
mine.
talking about pizza and sex.
Oh.
You know, because you made it's like it's like pizza and sex. I like to watch it. It's like, okay, great.
Well, it's funny because an old friend of mine who worked on the Star Wars worked on the Star Wars animated series said if I was a superhero, I would be the Watcher.
Oh, that's a nice thing to say.
That's much
But I'm also a voyeur, so it
Yeah.
works both ways.
You know, right now there's
I knew it would
some
come out.
artist who watches our show that's making you think of like a horizon here, and then Rob's eyes over it, looking at a big box of pizza, and so and maybe a couple banging on.
if
the
somebody
side. I don't
did
know.
that, I'd make that as a T-shirt.
That would make a great T-shirt.
yeah,
Actually.
I'll make some merch.
All right, what's next?
From Stray Wolf. Green Lantern is finally shooting in September.
that must be breaking news? If so, we'll talk about it tomorrow. But
Yeah.
really? Well, I'll believe it when I read it. But if that is true, that's great news. We'll talk about it tomorrow. Thanks for the heads up on that. Okay, what's next?
From Magic K. With Rob's slapped John video go viral, I think it's ketchup with eggs affect the behavior.
Oh, we're talking about the little sketch we did after the Will Smith thing.
Yeah.
Yes, that was funny. But what's the ketchup on eggs thing?
Well, that was part of the bet.
Oh, right. Okay. Well, why? You don't mind ketchup on eggs, do you?
It was for you, but he took the bet.
I don't love it.
Yeah,
But
no,
he said barbecue sauce too, and I'll put barbecue sauce on anything.
Oh
yeah,
my
actually,
God, that's gross.
my
On
gag
eggs?
reflex triggers.
Oh my
just
gosh.
thinking
Barbecue
about
sauce on
ketchup.
eggs. Come on, man.
You do like sriracha on eggs though? That's
Tabasco's okay.
I'd Army Hammer Elizabeth with barbecue sauce.
Whoa. Whoa.
Hashtag Rob2. Okay, what's next?
Brian Whitney, by the way, just keeps throwing in money in here too on those.
Well, we'll get-
okay. Jasmine Jones sends in an almost $20 super chat, so thank you, Jasmine.
Yes, man.
Fun fact: Catherine Keener was Sally Jackson in the Percy Jackson movies. Now Walker Scobell is playing Percy Jackson, so another The Adam Project connection. And Disney just announced to more stars for the Percy Jackson series.
Yeah, we were talking about that a little bit. By the way, Keener, I love her.
She's so good.
I mean,
40-year-old virgin.
I fell in love with her in
performance.
40-Year-Old Virgin. I mean, she was so good in that movie.
She was great in Get Out.
And then, of course, in Get Out, obviously with the Adam Project. I mean, she's got a long, long list of stuff. I adore it every time I see her pop up in something.
She's in a movie with Robert De Niro called What Just Happened, which no one's seen. Barry Levinson directed. And it's about Art Linson, a real producer, and Robert De Niro plays him. It is the most accurate and cringe-inducing. I watch it about a producer in Hollywood. It's one of the greatest movies ever about making a movie, and she plays the studio head, and she's awesome.
She's just great in everything
Awesome.
she pops up in. All right, what's next?
The comedic genius. Doctor Strange Day is finally here.
It's here.
Just want to say that I'm happy it's finally here, and also good luck with the hot toy, right?
Oh.
Yeah, I think it's gonna fall about 40 million short of that. But hey, keep hope alive. I mean, I don't like the idea of having to walk in that store and say, okay, pick one, dude. But but if I have to, I have to. All right, what's next?
From Jacob Flynn. Greetings from Mobile.
Oh, Jacob sends in like $50.
Wow. Thank you, Jacob.
Jacob, thank you so much for supporting our channel on that level, man. Thank you
Thank
very
you.
much.
Greetings from Mobile, Alabama. Can't wait to see Doctor Strange, but question about Moon Knight. When he returns again, do you think Marvel will resolve the 3 personalities detail off screen, how they did with Smart Hulk? Thanks for all you guys do.
Yep. And I'll tell you why. Because if it's not his movie, then they don't have time
Right,
to go
to
into
get it.
that sort of thing, right? Because just like in this movie, like if there was a dedicated Hulk movie, which we know they can't do, but if there was a dedicated Hulk movie before Endgame, and they had all the time to dedicate to him, then we probably would have seen the process of Banner becoming Smart Hulk. But because it's not just his movie, they had to fast that a little bit. And so I think they'll probably do it off screen. Rob?
I think you're probably right about that, because how would they explain? I mean, they haven't even explained it to us. You know, and if you watch the Moon Knight show, how does Jake Lockley fit into? I mean, Mark and Steven. Although somebody had written to me an interesting theory that now I've forgotten it, but after the show yesterday, that Jake was the resolution. Jake is the resurrection of Mark's dead brother.
Oh.
Okay. But it's still just mentally, it's not.
That's like they're the same person.
Yeah.
Like they're the same. So how could it be the resurrection of? Like it's not the same person.
Right.
Like Jake Lockley's actually a different individual to be the new avatar of Khonshu. I don't know.
Mark is more disturbed than he knows, or whatever that line is that Khonshu says at the end there. Yeah, so I think what you're saying here, dude, is pretty much on point. That when we do see Moon Knight again in some other movie, we're gonna see that Jake and Mark and Steven all already aware of each other and probably going back and forth in the 3, and they'll drop a line about how they became aware of each other, but that's it. I don't think they'll go into detail of that getting resolved. All right. Thank you again for supporting our channel on that level, man. All right. What's next?
From Quindell Newton, sending in a $20 super chat. Hey guys, love the show. I am so excited to see Doctor Strange 2 tonight. How do you guys feel about Wanda possibly bringing mutants into the MCU so Sue can have her kids? So she can have her kids.
Or maybe Sue.
Or maybe Sue's.
Maybe Sue. Are we talking about Franklin Richards here? Yeah, listen, there has never been a time when it was more possible that this could be the movie where mutants and everything gets introduced. For 5 years, every MCU movie that comes out, the fans have yelled, "This is the movie! The mutants are coming!" And it's never happened. But now, here we are. We got Professor X is in it. We are now at the 5-year bubble when Kevin Feige said, I got the next 5 years planned out, so no mutants until then. Well, here we are. It is something called the Multiverse of Madness. I mean, I'm not saying they're going to do it today. But today is the biggest opportunity they've ever had to do it. And if not now, soon. But I think there's a good chance, Rob.
I mean, although, I haven't read much. I mean, I've tried to stay as spoiler-free as I can, even though that's getting increasingly more difficult by the hour. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't know if that's going to happen, but there's never been a better time.
All right. What's next?
From Benjamin Tam, excited for Doctor Strange, have my tickets for Thursday, then again for Saturday.
Nice.
Going to make $215 million.
I mean, not as much as because I remember when Spider-Man No Way Home was coming in, a lot of people writing and saying, I got my tickets for Thursday, for Friday, for Saturday, and for Sunday. I haven't heard that as much, but still a good number of people have been writing in saying, got my tickets for Friday night and Saturday afternoon, like a lot of doubling up. But again, not as much as the Spider-Man one, though. That's why I don't think it's going to hit 266, but we could be in for something real, real big. All right, what's next?
From Stubble Mix Shave, House of the Dragon, August 21st, and Rings of Power, September 2nd, will overlap. Which will come out on top?
Oh, look. Game of Thrones is the more recent hotness, right? But Lord of the Rings is Lord of the Rings. I don't know. My guess right now is that Lord of the Rings will be the better show. That's my guess. If we're lucky, they're both going to be great regardless. Again, House of the Dragon is coming off the single most popular and successful television show in history. So I'll say House of the Dragon will start off with more viewers. Now, whether it still has that after 7 or 8 weeks, that's a different story. But I think House of the Dragon's first 2 episodes will have more viewers than The Lord of the Rings will have in his first 2 episodes. Rob, what do you think?
I think you're probably right. I mean, it really is going to come down to the quality of the shows. I mean, I think both shows have incredible potential. Obviously, the Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power series is the most expensive television proposition in the history of the medium.
Yep.
But like you point out, House of the Dragon, I mean, I think people are excited about it. I think people want it to be great. I want it to be great. I think it's probably going to start off bigger. But if the Lord of the Rings series is really good, I think more people, because, Game of Thrones, kids are not going to watch Game of Thrones, like if you're 8 years old, but you'll watch Rings of Power.
Maybe.
Although if I was 8, I'd probably watch Game of Thrones.
Chris, which... just talking about the first 2 episodes of each series, which is going to get the bigger ratings?
My son is named Gimli, son of Gloin. It is all about Rings of Power.
So you think it will get more viewers?
I really do. I really, really do. I think it's going to be beautiful. I think it's going to be so epic. And I do think some people are still soured enough on Game of Thrones that they're going to wait a few episodes to see how other people feel about it.
All right, that's a good point. Okay, what's next?
From Brand to Man, is the worst of Netflix's Daredevil still better than the best of Disney Plus shows?
No.
I know they're different, but it's still a fun debate.
No. That's a dumb debate. Listen, Daredevil is fantastic. No getting around. Daredevil's fantastic. And I'm not saying WandaVision is a better show than Daredevil was. WandaVision was truly special. I mean, it was unlike anything else. Daredevil was extremely cool. Gritty guy, getting into the street, beating the shit out of people. WandaVision was on a different level than that and was very special. But to say that the worst of WandaVision is still better than anything Daredevil, or the worst of Daredevil is still better than anything WandaVision, to me is idiotic. I mean, look, it's all subjective. It's individual preference. But just for me and my perception of it, it's a ridiculous thing. Absolutely not. I don't know. Either of you guys?
I mean, Daredevil did so many things in an incredible way. I mean,
exceptionally well.
Yeah, the hallway fight scene is just wonderful.
Legendary.
The fact that we saw mutagen, which made me so happy because I kept waiting for little turtles to pop up. I mean, it would be really cool. But it's apples and oranges. Why can't we just appreciate everything for as it is? Why do they have to compare? Everyone's pretty. You're all pretty, girls. Don't worry about it. There's room for everyone at the table.
No, some of us ain't as pretty. I mean, that's just the reality. That's the hard reality of life.
I mean, I appreciate the sentiment too. It's just also the production of those shows was very different. The way they were made.
Yeah.
And I think that, look, Moon Knight has a very different look than any of the Netflix shows. The Netflix shows all kind of shared the same overall palette, if that makes sense. WandaVision, going back and recreating those sitcoms, that was amazing. Like, and that was something that I don't think that the Netflix shows would have done.
And it carried something that the Daredevil shows did not. Mystery.
Yeah.
That actually engaged. I still remember when that show was out, like everybody was writing in every day, hundreds of theories, hundreds of ideas, hundreds of thoughts about how the mystery would resolve. And that was just something, to Chris's point, that's just something that was very different than what Daredevil was doing.
Yeah.
All right. Next, actually, Jonathan, how are we doing here? How close are we to getting done? All right, let's keep going here. What's next?
Okay. From remember Bulldog again. Any final predictions for Doctor Strange today?
Oh, no predictions. Nope, none. I you know me, especially on game day, I just want to take all the expectations, the thoughts, the theories, the speculation that I had, and I ball it all up. I put it in a nice little suitcase and I leave it at the door. Now I'm just at a point where I'm just going to go into the theater and say, okay, Kevin Feige and Sam Raimi, give me whatever it is you want to give me. And then
2 hours to thrill me.
Yeah, get 2 hours and 6 minutes to thrill me. All right, what's next?
From Thomas, I just realized after watching old AMC Collider videos that Ray has been mentioned so many times back then.
Oh yeah, Ray mentioned all the time. Like Ray is, but I mean, look, you got to understand, Ray has been with me longer than anybody was with me, longer than Schnepp was with me, longer than Dennis. Well, no, that's not true. Dennis and I were working together before that. But once we got to AMC, you started working with me at AMC before Dennis started working with me at AMC. I just worked with Dennis before that at another place.
Right. That's what happened.
But yeah, Ray has been around and been a pivotal part of AMC, of Collider, of the John Campea Show. Just, yeah, a lot of that.
What made you decide to send him to that island?
The island is something of his own creation. All right, so what's next?
From Alan, hi guys, I'm having some bad anxiety. I'm excited for Doctor Strange. I'm a little worried I won't like it. I'm not going in with any expectations. I just want to see a good and decent movie.
All right, so here's the thing, Alan. If you don't like it, you go, well, I didn't like that one. Well, let's watch the next one.
Yeah.
It's just that simple.
Don't.
Like, don't worry about it. I mean, it's a movie. We're
Yeah, I know,
excited about
exactly.
a movie. We're pumped up. But guess what? If it ends up being a movie we don't enjoy, you go, okay, well, there's others coming. I mean, and that's
Top
the great
Gun
thing about it.
Maverick, Thor: Love and Thunder.
For
You
sure.
like those?
There's a lot of great things out there to get on board. And if not there, then on television. Halo's out right now. And if you haven't caught up on Moon Knight, we got Obi-Wan coming. You know, go start watching Yellowstone if you haven't started watching Yellowstone.
For sure.
Watch, I mean, the best show on TV right now. Will I say it is? Well, anyway, there's a lot of great things on TV right now.
And
So go do it.
If you're feeling anxious that you're going to have the wrong opinion, don't even worry about that, right? This is not going to negate how you feel about the original Doctor Strange. If you loved that film and you hate this one, no big deal. And if you think other people aren't going to like how you feel about it, then you just need to hang out with some people who are cooler.
That's
Right?
pretty much it.
Everyone is entitled to
John-
their own opinion.
John goes through that all the time. People not liking his opinion.
Every day, man.
Say, every day
That's
I
my
have
job.
that.
All right, what's next?
From Attack of the Mushi.
Attack of the Mushi.
Hey gang, I accepted the promotion, Chris, at only 0.50% what I or
50
50 cents what I asked. I've been quite busy as a supervisor. Love the show, everyone, and I'm rushing out here to see Doctor Strange tonight. Congratulations on your promotion, and I'm so glad it was
Congratulations
close
on
to
the
what you
promotion, man.
wanted.
Very nice.
And congratulations on celebrating by going to see Doctor Strange tonight. That is a win-win as far as we're concerned. No, seriously, man, congratulations on that. That is awesome news. All right, what's next?
We have a whole bunch of support here. I do have one of those, that super chat from Rafael Castillo. We did miss that. I missed that. A $20 super chat. Thank you so much, Rafael.
wow.
I was in the Navy when I saw Top Gun, and after I left the theater, I hopped on my motorcycle and sped to the jazz pub I frequented to gush about it. To say I'm stoked for Maverick is an understatement.
Look, again, all film is subjective. Everybody will have a different opinion of everything. But from where I'm sitting, from my perspective right now, it's not even close. Top Gun Maverick is a better movie than Top Gun.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, I feel very confident saying that. Now, again, your mileage may vary. Maybe you'll feel different, but I feel very safe in just saying this is a better movie than that one. It was incredible.
Dude, I can't believe how good it was. I mean, it not only is it incredible, it's emotional. It has some of the most kick-ass action, and there's a component to it of the men on a mission. I love that genre. You know,
Yeah.
everything from Guns of Navarone to Dirty Dozen. This is an awesome war movie, too. I mean, it's pretty great.
It's really good.
that's just good news for him because he loved the first one, as he said.
Yeah,
So
I think you're going to love this one. I mean,
it's
Aaron,
guaranteed
whose
he'll like
family,
this.
obviously Aaron has family
Yeah.
like Aaron was like completely emotional watching it too. So I think you're going to have a really good experience with it, man.
Absolutely.
Okay, then what do we got here as far as people sending in support?
We got Real Talk Live. We got Brian Whitney sending in so much stuff here.
Brian.
Michael Cross sending in super chats as well. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you guys. And Brian, again, Brian's been one of our big supporters here, especially lately. Brian, seriously, that's incredibly generous of you. Thank you. On behalf of myself and the entire community, everybody who watches the show, thank you for being such a big part of keeping this show going and supporting what we're doing. So thank you so much for that, Brian, and to all of you who sent that stuff in. And guys, that'll do it for today's installment of the John Campea Show. Thank you so much for being here and making the show part of your day. Big special thank you out to Brian and everybody else like you who has sent in super chats today. Number one, because you give us great fun things to talk about. But number two, you supported this channel as you did it. And all of us involved here at the John Campea Show, thank you guys so very much for your support. By the way, let you guys know, I don't know how many of you guys go to VidCon, but I'm going to be a speaker at VidCon this year. I'll give you more details on that as we get a little bit closer to it. And I want to thank the people sitting around here. We got Robert Meyer Burnett. We got Chris Carr. Over there, we got fact checker Jonathan Voico behind the desk there running the show. And myself, John Campea. Guys, don't forget, the show will be back again tomorrow. We're going to talk a little bit more. We got a special guest in here tomorrow. My friend Christian Harloff is going to be here joining us talking about Doctor Strange. Keep your eyes open a little bit later today for our Out of the Theater reaction, which will be a short one. We'll have that up as soon as we get out of theaters. Lots of stuff going on around here. Guys, thanks so much for being here and making the show part of your day. My name's John Campea, and until next time, my friends, bye-bye.